I'm not late. It's 7:30. It's right when it meant to start. Just because YouTube, 30 seconds away from the stream, just because YouTube switches over to waiting for Human Boy doesn't mean it's actually late. I'm not late. Alright, we sound good. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Grace, the thing's up. Okay. So Grace wanted to come pick a winner for tonight's tournament, so let's do that. So the bracket's up. We have Olaf the Moose. We have Face, Makeshift Ocean, Sir Catbeard, Samaric, Dr. Nerd, Yashkov, Wesley Bravo, Grumps, Zarkas, Spartan, Tinnitus Anglesmith.
You don't want tinnitus.
And then Lowry and the 1001 Airstrikes.
I wonder if tinnitus can tell us if that's a reference to Archer or not. So. Oh, he's typing. They're typing.
Tinnitus Anglesmith is typing?
Yeah.
That's not,
I want to know if it's.
That's not allowed.
I want to know if it's an Archer reference. So. The Anglesmith part doesn't seem like an Archer reference, but.
All right, I'll bother a stranger on the internet because you told me to. That seems fine. I'm sure he's not. Sure, he's not busy doing other shit right now.
Okay, so I like the guy that's just the face. Oh,
his fucking face. I kind of want him to win.
I know. I might go with the face.
All right, if you're going with him, I'll go with Olaf.
Well, let me look back at the just
okay.
hold on.
You hold on. If you back out of the face, I'll go with face.
Sir Catbeard is also funny.
Olaf will be my second because he got second in the last new player tournament, but he's also a G.
You can't go based on that. You gotta go based on just you can't get logic though.
He's a G. He's fine. There's Grumps. That's Hazel. Actually, that's Ed.
Grumps.
Ed wants Grumps to win.
Okay, Grumps is Ed's pick. I feel like Hazel's pick would be Sir Catbeard.
That feels too basic.
Oh.
She's a complicated creature.
Okay.
She'd go with Wesley Bravo.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the face.
All right, I got Olaf the Moose. Oh, we're fighting each other round one.
Oh.
It's double elim, so that doesn't mean you're out right away.
Okay. Did they respond?
Dude, I don't know. No.
Come on, tinnitus. Okay. All right.
Goodbye.
Best of luck to everyone, but mostly the face. Come on, Stinky. Let's go.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, boy. All right. What's up, you degenerates? So tonight, we are doing a double elimination tournament. Not doing Swiss stage. Just for 1 week. Last week, we had a lot more signups than I'm used to, and we got unlucky, and it was a disaster, and my PC was overheating. So we're gonna take a little breather here and just do a regular old... I mean, it is double elimination, so I guess that's not a regular old tournament, but double elim, a little more simple, a little straightforward. Blood for the blood god. It's true. When's Hazel going to be in the new player tournament? When she gets thumbs. She gets thumbs and plays video games. Okay, I'm looking for Olaf and Face. $69 will win. It is, in fact, the funny number. It is the funny haha number. So it must win. Okie dokie. We'll be catching some live games tonight. couple here and there. One or two. Connection timed out. That's always promising. Let's try again. Oh no. The joining game circle continues to spin, and that makes me nervous. If Hazel's learned one thing by exposure, if she's learned one thing by exposure, she'd learn that Throp the Unclean is a piece of shit. Because I talk about it a lot off stream. I hate Throt. He's garbage. He didn't used to be. He wasn't always garbage, but man, he is right now. Alright, my connection keeps timing out with Mr. the Moose. I will try one more time. And then I might go find a different game. Alright, my connection keeps timing out, which is the big sad. One second. Well, now Hazel's all mad, and that's helping. Pop, pop, pop. Ocean Catbeard. That seems suspect. Alright, we part of the waiting gang. Now I'm just gonna go check out Ocean Catbeard and see if that's a thing I should be in. Makeshift Ocean and Bart. Is Bartimaeus Sir Catbeard? Alright, Sir Catbeard's saying it's legit, so it might be somewhere. Okay. Okay. We're here with Bartimaeus and Makeshift Ocean. Let's go, let's go. They're hovering dwarves in Bretonnia, though I have no idea if this is actually the matchup or if they're still doing picks and bans and stuff. It's the wild world of live games, which we have gotten horrendously out of practice of spectating. I also don't really know how to fill time anymore. What do we do? It's a Futurama reference. I should know the Futurama reference, but I don't. What the fuck? Why don't I know that Futurama reference?
Hello?
What up, dude?
Hi.
He said it's a Futurama reference, not an Archer reference, though they do also like Archer. Don't boo. You got me a painting of Futurama for my birthday one time. You can't boo.
That's true. Alright, well. Okay.
You said you'd co-stream with me. Where are you?
I did not say that.
You said you'd co-stream with me.
Did not.
Okay. You want to stay on the phone throughout my stream, though, because I'm lonely?
No.
Come on, man. Fine, get out of here.
Goodbye.
Alright. That was Grace, everybody. Who's the creepiest character in lore? Creepiest? Probably the Strigoi. The Strigoi vampire lords are fucking weird. They're just gross creepers. It's a little true, though. They have some serious stalker tendencies, where they just, like, follow their little minions around and sit in bushes. Don't bother talking to them. Send them cryptic notes when they're standing, like, literally right there. You got peanut butter cookies, they're really good. I made peanut butter cookies last week, and it was good. I mean, we still have a couple, but whatever. You get the point. It looks like we have dwarves, chaos dwarves, the old grudgeons. Behind the block here, I'm seeing some builds. I'm seeing some wild shit. We have a lot of stuff going on, ladies and gents. We have a lot of stuff going on. There's only 22 of you here right now. So I'm going to share a little secret with you. A little secret. A little bit. We have some big, exciting stuff coming. We're hosting the playoffs are right now, right? Vermin League playoffs. That's the playoffs for my little ladder. It's on my Discord. And then in late February, early March, if you know of our Nations event, if you were there for that on our channel, we're doing that again, but for clans instead of nations. So it's like ODM has a team, RTK has a team, MTK has a team, XMG, NC, things like that. You have these little teams, and you play each other in this tournament, and we'll see who's the best clan. So that's going to be fun and exciting. Congratulations to that. Woo, very fun. And then, the Warpstone Cup is going to start. Now, what's the Warpstone Cup? It's pretty much the Warhammer World Championship. You remember that? Remember that thing? We're doing that. Kind of. Sort of. But it's a 3-stage tournament to determine who's the best player in the entire goddamn world. I ordered a trophy. We have a physical trophy. And then we have the Nation's Calls. Yeah. We have a physical trophy. And then we have 4 Skaven plushies. One's like an assassin, one's like a rattling gunner, one's a poison globe. So if you win, you get the trophy shipped to you. You get the 4 plushies shipped to you. And then you get $100 on Steam. And then second place gets $50 on Steam, and then third and fourth place get $25 on Steam apiece. But we're doing a physical goddamn trophy. It's gonna be hype. As soon as the trophy and the little plushies get here, I'll make a graphic out of them and then send that around to a couple Total War streamers and ask them kindly and offer them a little bit of money for doing an advertisement, but ask them to plug the tournament to get more people to participate. Should be good. Hoping to get at least 100 people to sign up. So that'll be fun. It'll probably run. Stage 1 will go through most of April. So we're hoping to get stage 1 done before Thrones of Decay. Take a brief pause and examine Thrones of Decay and see if there's any major bugs or issues we have to deal with. Then resume the tournament with stage 2, which would be group stage, and then stage 3 is just a traditional bracket with everybody who's survived up until that point. So stage 1 is like a really in-depth knockout stage that I have all planned out. I don't feel like explaining verbally right now because there's an image to take you through it. But yeah, so round 1 should knock out half the participants. Round 2 should narrow us down to a bracket of 16, and then the 16 is a best of 5 normal ass bracket. Winner take all. And the stalling is complete. We are into the game. So for the dwarves, they were teetering back and forth with some very strange builds. And a lot of them did not have very much front line, which I am concerned. There's not enough bodies to maybe protect the back line, but we will see. So for the regular dwarves, we have Thorgrim Grudgebearer, the High King himself, out here to smite and fulfill grudges against the Chaos Dwarves. We have a Rune Smith with just the Rune of Slonish and Rune of Wrath and Ruin. 2 Iron Drake Trollhammer torpedoes, 2 cannons, a flame cannon and a regular cannon. The Skyhammer, Gyro Bomber ROR, Ulthar's Raiders, a Ranger, and then Dragonback Slayers, Miners blasting charges, more Miners, and a Longbeard with great weapons. On the other side, for the Chaos Dwarves, we have double Death Shrieker rocket launchers. We do have a Chaos Sorcerer, Prophet of Fire, Fireball, and Cascading Fire Cloak for him. He's on his Bale Taurus mount. 2 Chaos Dwarf Warriors as a front line, 2 Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, 2 Infernal Ironsworn, including the Immortals. And the Chaos Dwarf Warrior with great weapons. 2 very teeny tiny little builds full of teeny tiny little people. Gonna do battle. Now, if you want my criticism, if they're just having fun and they're having fun, whatever, that's fine. If you want my criticism, for the dwarves, they do need more of a front line to actually protect these cannons, because if the enemy just had a bunch of hobgoblins, they could overrun this area very quickly, and then your range units are shut down. Thorgrim's not a very good lord, and the Skyhammer is just a bad unit. The Gyro Bombers are pretty bad. So, that is what I think there. Especially versus something like Chaos Dwarves, where they have a bunch of armor-piercing straight-shot missiles that are very hard to dodge, and the blunderbusses and the fire glaives and stuff, and then even the homing rocket launchers. It's going to be a bad time for the Skyhammer. So that's my thoughts over there. On this side, Chaos Dwarf Warriors are strangely terrible versus regular dwarves. They just don't do anything. They're like worse than regular dwarf warriors. Their stats wouldn't indicate it, but just in practice, they are worse. I don't know. They just don't hold up. Blunderbusses are okay. They'll do okay against the anti-aircraft component. Infernal Ironsworn, the Immortals are fine. Double Rocket Launcher is okay. The problem with the Double Rocket Launcher is a single cannon can usually beat up maybe even 2 of them. We'll see, because he's trying to fire through the woods, which, like, the woods are going to block his shots, while the rocket launchers should go up and over if they feel like it. So the rocket launchers might be able to win this, but Dwarven cannons in this matchup in general are actually just really, really good. They can shut down trains, they can shut down the Deathstreak rocket launchers. They can always do good poke versus your lord. They're just a really, really, really nice tool here. So rocket launchers are in trouble. Skyhammer's getting a couple shots off while the second homing rockets are out. We'll see if this very fast little small guy can get out of the way, as a fireball is going to try and hit him, and the rockets, he dodges them both. Fireball hits him in the butt. That is one thing that's going well for the dwarves, is apparently the Deathstreakers cannot hit the little Skyhammer. The Blunderbusses sure can. Oh, the Blunderbusses sure can. If he ever gets in range, he is dead as hell, those Blunderbusses, but as long as he avoids them, he'll be okay. Cannon still firing away, poking down the Deathstreaker rocket launchers as the flame cannons are firing out here. The Deathstreakers have now moved on to shooting at the Longbeards. Did they switch to scatter shot, or are they still going single target? Let's find out. That's scatter shot. Alright, nice job. Nice job switching the ammunition and not just using single shot. That would be disastrous, so I can appreciate it. I think even with scattershot, they're probably shooting at the Iron Drakes. Iron Drakes feel like free targets for that. Gyro Bomber has landed on the ground. Rangers counter-firing a little bit with the Source Prophet of Fire. And I am seeing that mistake again. The Chalice of Blood and Darkness, based off of a spellcaster, I don't think the dwarves can do. Maybe the runes proc it? I'll be curious to see. But if the runes don't proc it, then that item is worthless in this matchup. Yeah, it doesn't proc it, so. Unfortunately, there will be no healing for the Chaos Dwarf Lord, and it is a little bit of wasted gold. Archers and the flame cannons firing into our Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss friends. Now, they are a little bit resistant to fire damage, but flame cannons just have such a really good amount of DPS that it doesn't really matter that you have that paltry amount of fire resistance. Trollhammer's now under attack by the cluster rocket launchers. The blunderbusses are getting into range. They're going to fire at the miners with blasting charges. What up, Spartan? Sure, dude. Hey, Dr. Nerd. Both the rocket launchers are getting poked down by the dwarves. That is going very well. And all the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire is rolling around. Gets a nice little breath attack onto the side while the cluster shots of the Deathstreak rocket launchers are making the dwarves pay. Already that Longbeard with great weapons is pretty much toast. The I almost said the Infernals. The Infernal Ironsworn ROR is marching unimpeded towards the cannons. This is part where I was wondering if the regular dwarves' lack of frontline would come back to hurt them. as the Immortals just walk right on up to this cannon, who has been doing insane work, but if the cannon gets shut down, actually the Skyhammer will probably have to go back there and finish off those Death Shriekers, because without the regular cannon, the Flame Cannon's not going to be in range, and these guys will be safe and happy to just shoot. Right now, the Skyhammer's getting some decent shots out against the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire. That's going fine. And for now, the regular Dwarves are up 2-1 on damage value, though this is where it's about to get scary. Some stuff's about to start routing a little bit. The Deathshriek Rock Launchers will be safe after the cannon is shut down. Now the Blunderbusses are in range to actually start doing some stuff. And the Chaos Dwarves are just a little bit better set up to do damage in melee. The Infernal Iron Swarm, both units of them are pretty good. We do have a Giant Monstrous Lord that'll be okay, as long as he can avoid taking too much extra damage. So, that'll be fine. Wow! Something terrible is happening to these Immortals. Oh, it's the Flame Cannon. Okay. They lost a lot of HP very quickly. They've killed off the cannon, took in about 2/3 HP from the Dragonback Slayers. Some miners, some Iron Drakes are falling back away from them for right now, while Blunderbusses continue to fire in. Blunderbusses might want to retarget onto the Skyhammer, though. So Dwarf Warriors' great weapons are given their Cascading Fire Cloak, and the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire dives down. He's getting good damage onto Thoric. And I'm liking the Chaos Dwarf tenacity into the late game here. They are really putting it all on the line. You love to see it. The Blunderbusses reforming lines. What will they shoot at? And please say it's the Skyhammer. Well, the tight formation of these Rangers will be their downfall. A rocket scatters and hits all of them at the same time. Balance Power scripting a little bit back towards the Chaos Dwarves as Thorgrim is terror routing. He does not have ITP. That feels incorrect, but okay. The Immortals are pretty much dead. They did strangely terrible. I was expecting them to do much better. They got a lot of value from killing a whole cannon, but they didn't actually do that well, to be honest. Meanwhile, the Skyhammer has done exactly what we had feared. It's now back uncontested shooting at the Death Shriekers. We'll see how much damage it can really get out, if it can really knock those guys down. But there goes Thorgrim Grudgebearer. He is dead, and the Dwarves take a spike down in leadership. Ulthar's Raiders trying to hang on and fight, but the Runesmith is about to rout, especially with this big, terrifying monster diving down on top of him right now. He terror routs away immediately. Bounce power shifts in the favor of the Chaos Dwarves as the Skyhammer shadows one of the Deathshriek Rock Launchers, and it is about to finish off the other one. So good job, Skyhammer. Good job. The Immortals are pushed away. Dragonback Slayers reforming lines, but the Flame Cannon is not on its mount, and the Trollhammer Torpedoes are trying to fall back away from the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. They're taking shots in their back from their own Blunderbusses. Runesmith routing. Everything from the Dwarves is routing. Not a sentence I'm used to saying out loud, but here we go. And is there hope for the regular Dwarves? The Skyhammer is chillin'. There's no healing for the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire as we have established. We do still have some Slayers. So maybe if the Slayers just sprint their way over to the Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, maybe they get a little bit of damage done there. It looks like for now, they don't have any new orders and they are getting shotgunned from several directions. And without this unbreakable centerpiece, the Dwarves are just going to fall apart. They really don't have anything left. We still have some Trollhammer Torpedoes that could be threatening the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, but they're currently being pursued by Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and it doesn't seem like they're really going to get that much distance. Flame Cannon's trying to get back to its mount, though that mount is in range of both Blunderbusses. And they even take a breath attack on the way. It mostly misses. I won't even say that they dodged it. It just mostly missed. This Ranger actually, in this relatively short game, managed to use most of its ammunition, which is a little surprising. And it might rout off the Chaos Dwarf Warriors as the Trollhammer Torpedoes turn and try and deal with them, but army losses will hit. That'll be a win from Makeshift Ocean. Where the start of the game was not looking good for him. He was down 2-1 in damage, but turned around. We have doubled our viewership since the stream started. That is insane. There are 37 people here. The Skyhammer did pretty well. Runesmith did okay. Flame Cannon did well. Regular Cannon did amazing. Thorgrim and Thorgrim, and the Trollhammer Torpedoes had a bit of trouble. Longbeards got crushed by the Deathshriek Rock Launchers. And it's a GG. Sorcerer Prophet Fire, really good value. The Immortals got close to paying for themselves-ish. The regular Ironsworn, I guess they hung around. They didn't get a lot of value, but I felt like they were just nice to be there. Death Shriekers were neat. Blunderbusses both did well, and the Chaos Dwarf Warriors did okay. I think if these guys had both hidden behind trees, instead of the cannon on one side hid behind the trees, he had the right idea, and then the rocket launchers were out in the open. I think if they had hid behind trees, I would have liked the pick a lot more. Just got to use the terrain around you a little bit more cheekily with those up and over artillery pieces. The rest of the build, I already offered my criticisms of the build. The play seemed fine. I think his blunderbusses were a little slow to retarget onto optimal things, like when the Skyhammer was right in front of him, they maybe could have gotten a volley or two onto it cheekily. But I like what Makeshift Ocean chose to do. I think he was a little slow in making the decisions, but I think a lot of his decisions were really good. So I like that a lot. For Barty, also liked a lot of the decisions. The Skyhammer was hard. It's a difficult unit to keep alive, and he did do well. Whenever the rockets were shot at him, he dodged. He got some good kite onto the Source of Profit of Fire with the Skyhammer, and he even got it onto their backline once all the threats were out of the way. So good decision making with Skyhammer. I still think it's a bad unit and required a lot of effort to even make it look fine. But that's whatever. His targeting with his cannons and flame cannon was good. I think his build just hurt him a lot that he didn't have any front line to keep the cannon going. So I don't think he had too many issues with this play that I would really criticize. It's mostly just the build that let him down here. But he played good. GG, lads. GG. $1,001 airstrikes versus Samarik? Is that real? Is that real? All right, we'll try and find Samarik in 1001 airstrikes. They might already be in game, actually. I saw they were a round 2 matchup, so I just kind of assumed that was over. It looks like Dr. Nerd might have had to concede. I see Yashkov and Wesley's thing. Yashkov and Grumps! I want to see Yashkov and Grumps. You still want the replays or everything is live? Replays of lower bracket. Yashkov. So, for anybody listening to the stream, Sir Catbeard and Dr. Nerd, and then Yashkov and Grumps will catch that live. We'll catch that live. But for anybody who is here, I want every single replay of the lower bracket because those are pretty easy to talk about. In a double elimination tournament, the bottom of the bracket makes sense because then as you cast it, you know that everyone who loses is knocked out of the tournament forever. So I do want all of those replays. I will be casting every replay from the bottom bracket that I receive. If you forget, that's okay, but I will try and remind people to get me those. Top of the bracket will continue on. We'll meet back up with them towards the finals, right? But as people get eliminated, I want to cast the bottom bracket so that guarantees I get everybody at least once, so they get one game of themselves on stream, and they get a little bit of advice if they want it. So that's what we'll be doing. So I'll message Dr. Nerd. Just to make sure I get them replays. So Sir Catbeard will. Alta. get that right thing. I have not received a response from Dr. Yashkov, sorry. Or the Grumpsinator. I see their lobby, there's just no spec slot. Sorry, trying to find a game right now. I have some replays already coming in, but they're not from the bottom bracket, so I guess if I can't catch these live games, then I'll start casting some replays just so we don't have dead air time. Alright, we'll move on to replays. I'm saving up a quick one now. From Samarik and 1001 Airstrikes. Alright, we'll go do that. Go send replays casting or straight to Game Boy, straight to me. If you're in the lower bracket, straight to me. We're open for you. I don't know who that is. Never mind. They opened the thing for me. I must go. We'll get back to this. There's a live game I gotta catch. This is Grumps. What up, Grumps? Alright, I'm on my way. Let me get the blocker back up so I don't reveal your build. I'm coming, Grumps! Yashkov and Grumps, spectate slot, and they gave me the password that was super secret, so I won't say it on stream. I'm coming! Let's go. Grumps versus Yashkov. Now, this is the lower bracket. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a do-or-die situation for both of these players. Whoever loses this is out of the tournament forever. All right. Whoever wins stays alive. Stay alive, stay alive. Olaf Moose beat Mildly Disappointed Face. So far my prediction is beating Grace's. I'm not trying to say I'm better at this than her, but I might be better at this than her. Because I bet on my boy Olaf. You always got to bet on Olaf. The man has impeccable taste. Wes is sending me things. Bum 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 bum. Alright, Yashkov is currently sitting on a fully fleshed out Beastman build, though I'm not sure if these are actually the matchups, or if that was his last round matchup. So I'll look for changes. Looks like he is fuddling with it a little bit, so it might actually be Kislev versus Beastman. Now, if that is the case, on new player tournaments, I generally try to avoid talking about what builds are meta or optimal when we're in the lobby, just in case the players are listening. It feels like a little bit of a thumb on the scale. Now, I might do that in a higher level tournament where the players are better than me, because if the players are learning from me how their builds are supposed to work, they have bigger fucking problems coming their way in a top level tournament, right? But in a new player tournament, I try to avoid that. In general, though, what I will say is Kislev is an S tier faction. They're very, very good for a lot of reasons, and they're at the top of competitive play. But Beastman is actually one of the better factions into them. I wouldn't say it's a counter. I would say the Beastmen have enough tools to make it an even matchup, where their units aren't just as raw, strong as Kislev's are, and they don't have nearly as much healing as Kislev does. They do have an abundance of armor piercing, so Kislev's heavy armor doesn't really deter them that much between Minotaurs, Razor Gore Herds, throwing axes, and then a lot of good armor piercing spells, plus single entity targeting spells in Traderkin and Spirit Leech. They can really dismantle blobs if they want to. So Kislev's blobs aren't a lose game situation for the Beastmen. Kislev's armored front line isn't that much of a problem for the Beastmen either. So the Beastmen have some good tools here to deal with this, but they are still fighting an uphill battle just due to power creep and stats and healing of Kislev here. So it's raw stats versus counter strategies. Yashkov and I both sent it. Yeah, I see it. I see it, Wes. If you could in the future, DM me. For tournament stuff. Replays for casting is more like replays in general that me and other content creators look through to make YouTube videos. Like a lot of content creators pull from there. In tournaments, I like it when people DM me because then I get the notification and then it's right there and I don't miss any. So if you could, since you're listening, that'd be great. I see that one over there, and I'll grab it if we have some dead time. But I'm going to cast every game I can from the lower bracket, and I'll only take the upper bracket games if we have dead air I got to fill. The Beastmen are ready. Kislev's getting there. Kislev has 6 gold left, so it's just if he feels like he's ready to go or not. I'm taking a look at some of the builds behind the blocker to start formulating my thoughts. Also, Wesley Bravo, I've noticed you in the chat, I feel like for a long time. Good to see you playing with us. Congratulations on getting the round 1 dub. We are getting into game. I do already have something to say, but now I'm going to wait until we get the loading screen. There we go. Now builds cannot be changed. Mother Ostankia has all of her spells. You never want that. You never want all of the spells on a caster. They're never going to get all of it. I have a guide on my YouTube channel. If you go to the playlist for new players and scroll towards the bottom, because it's one of my newer videos about the new player stuff. There's a guide on top 5 tips to get wins in multiplayer. And one of them is, on your spellcaster, you want a maximum of 2 spells. You can kind of cheat that at the higher levels, but it doesn't matter. The main point is you only want 2 spells, because in the time you have Winds of Magic and you're getting through your cooldowns, you're never going to have 60 Winds of Magic sitting around that you can go like Fireball, Burning Head, Flame Storm, and Piercing Bolts of Burning back to back, and it was a worthwhile time. If you have that much Winds of Magic, you fucked up at that point, right? You should have been casting Burning Head every so often throughout the game. You should have been casting Cascading Fire Cloak throughout the game. You shouldn't have that much Wind of Magic to make use of those spells. So you're never going to use them all at the same time. So you're not going to get any benefit out of that. And then the odds that you get a benefit out of 6 different spells throughout the game, like, again, like Burning Head, because all of their archers are in a straight line. Nice, good spell. Piercing Bolts of Burning, because they had like 3 Chosen stacked on top of each other, and you got to punish that armored blob. Nice. Flamestorm, because they were in a tight box formation and got to hit multiple units at once. Fucking nice. Like Cascading Fire Cloak, because I was in a duel. It's like, dude, those things aren't all going to happen in one game. So just pick like the 2 or 3 most generic spells or whatever helps your specific strategy the most, and use them multiple times rather than using 6 spells, 1 apiece. And it saves you a ton of money on your caster. Like, if you take all 6 spells, you're paying an extra 500 gold, which is a whole nother Kossar with spears for your caster. And that's not just Mother Ostankia, that's anybody. Any caster with all their spells is going to be about another 500 gold over what they would be. It's just something I noticed for cost. Because this Mother Ostankia loadout was 3,000 gold, which is too much. Goliath's is fine. Spirit Bear's fine. Some people really use it well. I usually don't. I forget it exists, so I just don't take it because I don't want to spend money on something I'll forget. It does have all of Mother Ostankia's spells, and then has all of her items and abilities too. So she is a big, tanky lady with all of her stats. Aside from that, this build is actually really strong and really good. That's really my only note on Grumps' build here. The rest is really strong. Has a front line of armored Kossars, which is good. Backs up the Kossars with spears, which is situational, but against Beastmen, it's going to be great. They're low armored in general. And the only thing... Will you shut up, lady? Okay. The only thing that's going to disrupt your backline is going to be lightly armored large targets like Centaurs, Razor Gores, and things like that. So the Kossars' spears will actually hold their own. Warbear Riders is great. Incarnate Elemental Beasts of great and is great. And we have a Patriarch with his really good buffs. So yeah, I like this build a whole lot. Just make Mother Ostankya a bit cheaper and grab yourself a couple extra units for your trouble. On the other side, for the Beastmen of Yashkaf, we have triple Razorgore Herd, some Ungor Spearman Herds, triple Zongor, 4 Minos, some with great weapons, some with shields. We have a great Brave Shaman of Wilds on foot with just Traderkin and a couple archers. Another really strong build. Ooh, we even have some dogs in the distance. Another really strong build. I like this a lot. I personally have soured on Razorgore Herds recently because their melee stats just suck so fucking bad. 24 melee attack with 18 melee defense is abysmal. They have a great charge bonus, but if they rampage, which they always do, they get stuck in melee and they won't get to use that charge bonus over and over again. And also, Rampage has a bug right now where it can be rather infinite and they literally can't stop rampaging. So I think with all those things combined, it's just a problem. But this is a problem. All those rampages are getting popped, but it's because Mother Ostankya is completely surrounded by the Razorgore Herds and they are tearing her apart. She didn't drive away fast enough. The Kossars are firing around, Warbear Riders and the Incarnate Elemental Beasts are going to take a fight here with some Minos. Though it looks like the Warbear Riders didn't have an attack order on the Incarnate Elemental, the Minos. They just happened to be in the area, so they got charged and they didn't countercharge at all. So a little bit of a rough start here for Kislev. We'll see if Mother Ostankya can get out of here. So we do have some archers trying to move up and help out. Dogs are on the back line. Kossars or Spears can honestly fight back against them and push those guys away, but still it's going to be a good flank for the dogs. Archers are trying to shoot at Mother Ostankya, but there's too many of their own men in the way, and a Withering is cast that lowers the leadership and armor of some of these guys. The Warbears are getting trucked on by the Minos, because the Minos did get an attack, and now the Warbear Raiders are trying to path away from the Minotaurs and get to the Ungor Raiders, but they've taken so much damage in the process, I don't know how that's going to work out for them. Flock of Doom is hitting everybody. Everybody, everywhere. And the Kislev front line is holding for now. It's doing just fine, but the flanks are a little bit too much of a disaster for them to bail out of. Mother Ostankya did survive her ordeal. She's going to throw down a Guliaz to heal herself while all the Beastmen are routing, and then Warbear Riders distract some of the Ungor Raiders. If she can get back to the Patriarch and get a little bit more natural healing in her own area, maybe she can pull through. And this Incarnate Elemental Beast needs to rear charge his Minotaurs, start hitting them, but also hitting the Great Brave Shaman of Wilds. The Incarnate and the Warbear Riders both seem to want to come bail Mother Ostankya out of her bad situation, but they're on the other side of the map, so they've spent most of this game just walking around, which is really not good for Kislev. Now the Incarnate is going to charge in, maybe go for the Lord Snipe on the Beastmen. That could be their only way back into this game. Killing the Lord, lowering their leadership, and then just relying on heal spam through the late game to get you back into power and get them out of here could be a good way to turn this game around. Mother Ostankya gets caught yet again on the Zongors. Does throw out an Amber Spear down to the Minotaurs. Actually does good damage, so I was impressed by that, but it is too little, it is too late for her, as she just gets torn apart by the Zongors and the archers. She was not evasive enough. Incarnate and Patriarch hanging out next to each other, but army losses appears to be hitting soon. And that might just be the GG. She really does do that speech all the time. Yeah, dude, Mother Ostankya always does the speech, and it really annoys me. Even in replays, she does the speech. If I load up any replay that has Mother Ostankya in it, she's going to yell at me for the first 30 seconds. I really, really liked Grumps' build a lot. He just got punished for one mistake. Mother Ostankya didn't run away when she first got attacked. She didn't use that like kite chariot mentality of hers. And then the Incarnate and Warbear were forced to try and bail her out, but they were all the way across the map, so they couldn't get there. Everything else was fine. Like, if she was still alive and rolling around and stuff, things could have been okay. And even getting ganked that hard, she got 1,400 value back, so imagine if she was still alive. And then she could have rolled around, disrupted some archers, or rear charged some of these Zongors and pushed them off. For Yashkaf and the Beastmen, another solid build. You are seeing why Minotaurs are just such a meta thing for Khorne and the Beastmen. They're good. They're kind of anti-everything, right? They're really good versus cav. They're good versus armored infantry. They're good versus regular infantry. They're just solid. Solid world beater units. It's good shit. Good shit. Hope to see Grumps around some more. He will get stronger than ever before, don't you worry. Spartan 1001 airstrikes are getting ready to face off. Yakshaf has to go fight Makeshift Ocean. I'll try and spectate Spartan and airstrikes. Yashkaf, if you're out in the chat, or if Makeshift Ocean is, make sure to send me the replay of your battle. Same with Sir Catbeard and Dr. Nerd, though. I already talked to them in DMs. We'll catch Spartan and Airstrikes live, since we have no lower bracket replays to cast, and we do have some live games going on. More like mother is stinkia. Huh! I got it. Because she doesn't shower often. Because she's in medieval times. It doesn't have access to running water. I got it. I got it. I understood. This dude's game is just called Under Empire. Block her up. Boon, tax evasion. Let's go. I'll be here all night. My turns are also ITP, getting even more damage as they fight butchery targets faster than any other units their cost. Oh, Sakura, I'm sorry. You just hit today's word of the month. I have to remove that comment. I have to. It was too informative. We couldn't let it survive. I'm sorry, but I have to. It is the law. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. What if she's actually super hot and uses magic to make her old and ugly? What if then? Alright, that can stay. That kind of comment is exactly what we're about here. Alright, Spartan Deimos has popped into the chat to tell us that they're doing bans. And I retort. Good. Good for you. I wish I was doing bans. Everybody be real quiet. Everybody be real quiet. Look at the boy! Look at him! Look at that boy! Just a good boy. Just a good boy. Look at the boy! Look at the boy! Just a good boy! That's Mukau! I love Mukau. We do. Who's messaging me? Someone just asked me if I have any warp stone. I told them I don't. Sir Catbeard, do you have a replay for me? Zinch, Ogre King is Bretonnian, Tomb Kings is banned. Not Kislev or Grand Cathay. That is shocking. Alright. We don't wanna disrupt the moon. We don't wanna. So we're gonna do this carefully. So we don't want to disrupt his slumber. You understand? Yeah. Oh, that's a good boy. Hey, little man. Hey, little man. Little soldier. Little soldier on Soldier's Field. Do you remember D-Day? Remember when you stormed the beaches of Normandy? Do you remember? He remembers, guys. He remembers. Do you remember, little man? Alright. Back to your spot. Oh. Back to your spot. When are you moving to Austin, Texas? Probably never. Probably never. All my family is up here in Minnesota. So that'd be kind of a bitch. All my friends are up here in Minnesota. So that'd be kind of a bitch. I'd have to find some crazy work down there. Which I don't know if I have the qualified skill set. Let's review my resume. 2011 through 2012, shot JFK. 2013 through 2014, ran from the FBI. 2015 through 2016, hired by the CIA to kill JFK for real this time. Don't miss. 2018 through 2022, unemployed. 2022 through 2023, gigolo. 2024, TBD. Not a great resume unless JFK lived through the second attempt, in which case I got a job. Though would they actually hire the guy who specifically fucked it up twice? I don't know. I don't know. As a member of the government, can we have a chat? Sure. You can build a crypto mining operation there. That is not nice. Sir Catbeard, once you remember where to look it up, I can maybe help with that. Alright, left screen. Let's go to this PC, local. Users, whatever your user is, go to app data, roaming, the Creative Assembly, Warhammer 3, replays, all your replays should be in there. Where do I send the replay to? Personal message. I have Sir Catbeard. Hello! Yes! We'll cast that next. You got it from the pinned post? Those damn helpful pinned posts. Because it was all stated clearly on the Discord. We do try to be helpful. How did we end up with Khorne versus Grand Cathay? That is a D tier faction versus an S tier if I've ever seen one. If you are a new player and you played in tonight's tournament and you went 0-2 and you got knocked out and you are pissed off about that, well, first, take a little break, take a breather, do some yoga, take a hot shower, break something. But after you're done breaking things and shit, you can go to our Discord. You can get the rat order roll if you didn't already have it. You can talk to anyone on our list of coaches. They can give you advice on builds, on replays. We even have a chat that says replays for coaches, where you can submit your replays, even if it's from a quick battle. Doesn't have to do anything with us. It's fine. You can just go to quick battle, play a game, throw that replay and replays for coaches, ping the coaches and say, hey, what did I do wrong? They will weigh in. They will tell you what they think you did wrong, what you did well. They will give you a little pat on the head for being a good soldier and send you on your way. Now, if you hate quick battles like I do, some people enjoy them, some people do not. I respect your right to enjoy them, and you should respect my right to not. If you hate quick battles, we do have a best of one bot on our Discord, so you don't have to deal with the intimidation of a best of three and all that stuff. But our best of one bot is only accessible by other new players that we have in our community. So you might have a bit of a better shot there, a bit of a good time. You could also find somebody to train against who is roughly your skill level. Because as much as I love shitting on people worse than me, and as much as I love fighting people way better than me, I do find I have the most fun when I'm practicing with someone who is roughly around my level. If you are bypassing all of that, you think you are the hottest shit in the whole world, you don't have to join the new player stuff. You don't have to do any of that. We do have a second Discord bot that is more available to everybody. It is the Vermin League Best of 3 bot. You queue into that. It matches you with someone else who is queuing around the same time you are. You play a best of 3 by tournament rules, which is pretty much don't sit in a corner, don't sit in the forest, and don't be a dickhead. If you don't do any of those 3 things, you will be fine. Yeah. And then you get some ratings on our Discord. You get invited to big special tournaments like the playoffs that are going on right now, where we have a total prize pool of about $800 between the 5 different tournament levels. So there's lots of cool things to be doing right about now. Shadows of Change 2.0 is also coming out pretty soon. So activity on our Discord has actually been kind of insane, so we don't even need it. But around every DLC, there was always an activity spike. So now's a good time to hop in. As I mentioned before, we do have the Warpstone Cup, which is pretty much just the Warhammer World Cup coming up soon. Big global tournament to see who is the best player in the entire world right now in land battles. So now is a pretty good time to start brushing up for that if you think you can stand up to the task. And if you don't think you're the best player in the world, then don't fucking sign up. I mean, sign up and have fun or whatever. Just, you know, play the games and have fun with some friends or whatever. It's fine. But also, if you lose all of your games, there's not going to be any friends, so maybe don't sign up. Victor Sanchez, we do hope to see more of you. Hope you send in some replays for coaches. If you like the commentary that I gave during your game or things like that for what you could be doing, like just a quick version is like what you did well. You had a great build. You had a really, really great build. Things you could have done better. Mother Sankey taking all of her spells and her getting caught out right away. That's what the replays for coaches will do. They'll type you that same kind of thing where they'll be like, here's what you did well, here's what you could do better on. They can give you matchup specific advice too, but most of it's generic, right? Most of the advice they're going to give is applicable. It's not like, this advice only makes sense for Beastmen versus Khorne. It's more of, your Centaur engagement on the left flank was pretty good, but then you didn't capitalize on it by, like, chasing... I'm making this one up, but, like, you know, your Centaurs beat Kossovite dervishes, and then when they started routing, you chase the Kossovite dervishes that are already beyond repair and no one cares about them, instead of taking that exposure in the enemy's line to get back into their archers and shut down their archers. They'll give you advice like that more than play better. This is a really good wine. It's from a winery near my hometown. I got it for Christmas. And this is the last of it, so I'm trying to savor it a little bit. Wesley Bravo causing trouble. Do a Where's Waldo event where there's 8 players and 1 Waldo player hiding. Don't drink Dwarven moonshine in front of the kids. Dwarves would never touch wine. That's elf business. Okie dokie. Dwarven wine? No. 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 When they meet the elves, they're very disgusted by wine. I think it's gross. As we all do. We all think it's gross. Alright, Grand Cathay. The bad guys of the world. Everybody hates Grand Cathay, and therefore we hate 1001 Airstrikes. But let's pretend for a second, my friends, that we do not hate 1001 Airstrikes. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's a cool guy. Maybe he didn't bring any chrome in. Ah, fuck, he did bring some chrome in. Alright, maybe he's a cool guy. Maybe he's a cool guy. Maybe he didn't bring a sky junk. Ah, he brought a sky junk. That cheesy son of a biscuit. Okay, well, maybe he's a cool guy. Maybe he didn't bring Miao Ying. Ah, he brought Miao Ying. What a fucking loser. Never mind. Is that the Celestial General? Is that the Celestial General with Celestial Sweep and Lord of Grand Cathay? I love it. And then we have an Astromancer, not on his War Compass. He is just on foot. The Cloak of Pome. Celestial Silk Robe, and then the Comet, and the Curse of the Midnight Wind. I love it. We have the Dune Dragons, the Celestial Guard Regiment of Renown. This is a spicy Grand Cathay army, and I am 100% here for it. I'm locked and loaded, ready to go for this. We have a frontline Jade Warriors, a backline of some Peasant Long Spears. We do have the Dune Dragons, like I mentioned. 2 Iron Hill Gunners, 2 Celestial Dragon Crossbows. Ooh, Celestial Dragon Crossbows! This is a very elite Grand Cathay army. I'm a big fan. I mean, competitively, you'd probably want to go with cheaper stuff and just, like, box like everybody has since the dawn of time, because that shit's broken. But, like, this is spicy. This is fun. So I support it. If you want a more meta army, then there's better choices, but... yeah. On the other side, we have 2 Blood Crushers of Khorne. Now, I think this is a bad unit overall, but I can see why he brought it. It does have arm piercing and its own anti-infantry bonus, so it could theoretically be good at smashing through the Cathay front line of Jade Warriors. Maybe, possibly. And Cathay usually isn't going to bring a bunch of large cavalry that you really need Skull Crushers or even to worry about it. If they bring Jade Lancers or anything, Blood Crushers are more than up to the task. So I get it. I still think this unit is generally bad due to its high price point and demonic instability. It'll take it out if it ever gets too low on leadership. Those are really bad traits to have in an expensive cavalry unit, but like I understand why he took it based off the unit card. We have Marauders and Chaos Warriors of Khorne for a bit of meat in the front line. We have Valkia, who is the best Khorne Lord in general, but especially versus High Elves and Grand Cathay, the Spear Slavenir is very, very good due to their tight formations. We do have a Chaos Warrior with Halberds, and then some Flesh Hounds of Khorne, including the Hounds of the Blood Hunt, which have their little natural regen here, Gore Feast. Would you drink Norscan mead? I've actually never had mead in my entire life. Not by choice. I just kind of never, like, happened across it. I could go search it out, you know, and buy it at the store. It's not impossible, but... I think the Sky Junk is going to be just fine, because Valkia takes forever to kill this thing. Whoever gave the Sky Junk 10,000 HP needs a strong rethinking of what they do in life. Because Valkia does maybe 500, if we round up. Maybe 500 per swing. And that's if, like, all of it gets through the 80 armor, which it doesn't, but whatever. Let's pretend it's 500 per swing. She still needs 20 swings to all hit the Sky Junk to kill it. That seems a bit much. Especially when there's Iron Hill Gunners and stuff nearby that could do a lot of damage. Saboon Tax Evasion is going to move up. Now, the front line of Cathay should hold. Even against all of these Chaos Warriors of Khorne and such, it's Cathay's brand, it's their whole thing, is that their front line will hold until the end of time, right? So for Khorne, they're going to have to make use out of their flying single entity, Valkia and her Spear Slaupners, and they have to make advantage out of their superior mobility. With 3 Fleshhounds and 2 Blood Crushers, 1 Croman is not nearly a match for all of that, so they're going to have to find good angles into the box without dealing with too much melee infantry. They're going to have to get a good cycle charging out to win this game. The front line is a bit of a distraction. It's a good pressure piece, but it's not really going to win the whole game. As the Dune Dragons get poked down by the Spear Slaupnir, that's a quarter HP off of a very expensive unit. Valkia is pretty happy to do it. 350 value off the start. That's already paid for the spear twice over, and she still has a second cast of it. Valkia is ducking and dipping and diving, just wasting a bit of these Celestial Dragon Crossbows time. She does have to be careful. That's a very elite archer, so if she's ever off on her dodging a little bit or actually takes a nasty volley to the face, that will be a lot of damage she doesn't really want to deal with. Valky's still getting poked a little bit. Marauders now the focus. Ooh, Iron Hail Gunners are going to get a bit more guaranteed value into Valkyrie. She's going to be careful. She needs to pop Demon Shield if she's going in like this, because she's getting way too close to the fire for not having Demon Shield on. She is going to go for the Sky Junk, and it looks like the Iron Hail Gunners aren't going to bother to turn and shoot at her right now, but that could be devastating. The Marauders are getting to the front line. They're going to take a lot of damage. We don't care about that. Neither players really care about the Khorne front line. It's about how much damage the Blood Crushers and Dogs can end up doing. Onyx Croman peel off Valkia. She does get away from there for now. The Marauders have hit the front line. Jade Warriors are going to hold quite well against these Marauders of Khorne. And in come the Dogs. 1 Blood Crusher, already about half HP from these Celestial Dragon Crossbows, occasionally shooting at them. And the first of our Marauders is already breaking. Astromancer with his spell is probably going to throw a Comet right here on these stacked up 2-for-1 units. It's a bit too tempting to ignore. Valkyrie does throw down Demon Shield to fight with the Onyx Croman. So far the Celestial Dragon Guard have not moved. They seem pretty content where they're at for now. Looks like they'll counter charge against wherever the Blood Crushers and Dogs end up. Valkyrie is taking a fight against the Onyx Croman and the Sky Junk. She is losing that fight, and the Astromancer, that's his name. He does try and throw down a Comet of Cassandra on the Blood Crushers, but they dodge it entirely by just charging the targets they originally wanted to. It curves in to help them a little bit, but honestly doesn't get that much damage out, so a bit of a whiffed first cast here. The Celestial Big Man is what I'm officially going to call him. I wonder if he has a sweep up or if he already did it, because I love that sweep. It's so cool. I'll keep an eye out over here, but it probably already happened. Curse of the Midnight Wind is out. Valkyrie chucks her second Spear Slaupnir through several units trying to disrupt them, but the Curse of the Midnight Wind is making it very easy for the Blood Crushers to get shreked down by the Dune Dragons. They don't really do that much damage to infantry units. They're kind of like Orc Boar Boys, where they don't kill infantry super fast despite all of their buffs, and they're really suffering for it now. That one's about to Demonic Instability Crumble at still like 1/5 HP, which for something that's 1,500 gold, that's still a lot of value left on the field, but it just gets deleted in the blink of an eye. Damage value is actually relatively close, considering how far ahead Cathay usually gets. And Dogs and Skull Crushers are still... Well, Blood Crushers, sorry. They're still trying to disrupt some of this range, trying to get through it to make the bounce of power a little bit easier for them as the Sky Junk fires straight down. But Valkyrie has been dealing with that thing every so often, and it's still just fine. Oh, that was a nasty volley here from the Emperor's Croman. The little rock drop or whatever just wrecked those poor guys. And Khorne's starting to fall away. Blood Crushers, Demonic Instability crumbling, taking them out. Still have all 3 Dogs, and Valkyrie's back into the fight with the Sky Junk. But once again, the Onyx Croman are here to peel her off. As right as rain. Khorne just now starting to get through that front line a little bit. But the Dune Dragons are here to peel if need be. Hounds of Bloodhunt 2 leadership. And they're at like a quarter HP, plus they're regenerating, but they still might just get taken out by that Demonic Instability because it is a little too harsh, I might say. I don't might say, I do say. I'll die on this hill. Demonic Instability is too intense, man. Valkyrie's Demon Shield wears off again. She's kind of inside the Sky Junk, but she is surrounded by the Emperor's Croman and getting poked to death. Khorne's balance of power is dipping fearfully low. And that might just be GG as the Dune Dragons moved in on the Curse of the Midnight Winds cast Fleshhounds. 0 armor and 12 melee attack for those guys due to that debuff. making them rather impotent. Celestial Dragon Crossmen with their 33 melee defense are not concerned at all. Army losses hits for Khorne. They are out of here. Pandemic Diesel, thank you very much. Blood Crushers, not a lot of value, unfortunately. Valkyrie did great. Fleshhounds also struggled a lot. And Marauders and Chaos Warriors just couldn't get through the front line. For the Celestial General, 200 value. I don't know if he ever spun. I don't know. Skydrunk did fine. The Dune Dragons did fine. The Celestial Dragon Crossmen did fine. 1,250 value on the Onyx Chroman from just fighting Valkyrie all game. Jade Warriors held forever. And Iron Hail Gunners did great. GG. Oof. Peasant Longspears. Killing it. GG's, brothers. That is the end of Boon Tax Evasion for tonight. And we have 2 lower bracket replays to go through. If you are part of the lower bracket, I do ask that you send a replay to me so I can keep up with these things. But every game from here is going to be an elimination game, so let's go back to Sir Catbeard versus Dr. Nerd. Sir Catbeard on the Tomb Kings versus Dr. Nerd on the Skaven. This is actually one of Skaven's fine matchups. 50-50, maybe 55-45 in the Skaven's favor, but despite it being undead, which means their entire front line causes fear against you, the Tomb Kings do have the summon, the Ushapti summon if they take enough damage. That can be really annoying for Skaven's weapons teams. You have Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech, which is a terrible... spell versus the Skaven. Like, they hate Fate of Buna, they hate Spirit Leech and stuff. So there's some stuff the Tomb Kings can do, but their front line really isn't that impressive. Their shooting isn't that impressive versus the Skaven specifically. They just don't care about it, and the Skaven can outshoot them. So the Skaven have some teeth, the Tomb Kings have some teeth. We do not have Arc in the Black, however, which does make me concerned for our friends, the Bony Boys. We have High Queen Khalida, then a bunch of Skeleton Warriors, some Nehekar Warriors mixed throughout. We have the Chosen Gods of Shafted Great Bows. Do have the Eyes of the Desert Spork Stalkers, Kepler Guard, more Spork Stalkers, and a Necrotech with a bit of a heal. On the other side for the Skaven, we have Skaven Slave Spears and Clan Rats across the front line, a secondary line of Plague Monks, some Poison Globes, 3 of them, some Rat Ogres, a Gracier of Plague on foot, Warplock Jezzails, and double Warp Lightning Cannon, both guarded by Rat Ogres. That is an awful lot of Daka. Unfortunately, the Chosen of the Gods do wander up to the front line and start taking significant damage. They're going to regret that. That is just a mistake. I can't justify it. Can't justify it, not at all. I don't dislike the Skaven build. I'm sorry, the Tomb Kings build. It's good. You can overwhelm the Skaven with just raw amounts of infantry if you spread them out. Like, these Nakara Warriors need to path up through the middle by this little gap left between the front line. And you can see some of the Skaven are already leaving. I feel like there's a bit of asymmetry, though. If we have 2 Sepulchral Stalkers and the Chosen of the Gods of Shafted Great Bows, why are we going so much melee? I would cut these 3 and just get melee Ushapti and some Chariots and just go full rush. If you're going to rush the Skaven, just rush. And if you're going to shoot them, just shoot them. But don't do this, like, hybrid thing, because they'll kind of outdo you at it. Khalida's trying to disrupt the backline. That's going pretty well. And you can see the Skeletons are getting through the front line. It's just a little bit of asymmetry in what the build wants to be doing right now. But I think some melee Ushapti would actually clean this right up. Sporkle Stalkers also end up in the front line, which is not where they want to be. These other Sporkle Stalkers are a bit out of it. They're going to shoot at Rat Ogres now and get some decent damage. The Nekar Warriors have been activated, and they are running forwards. We'll just see how fast they can get where they need to go. Ushapti Summon is going to get thrown down. Where is it? It already went on cooldown, so it's getting thrown down somewhere. I just don't see it. Don't know. I lost it. There it is. Hey, nice. It's on the back line. You love to do this versus Skaven. So it'll kill the Warp Lightning Cannon and then probably pursue the Natty Boop with Sharpshooters or something. But the Tomb Kings are just taking too much damage. And their ranged units aren't contributing anything. Like these Sepulchral Stalkers, you're paying for all their range, but they're also just in melee this whole time. These other ones are trying to help out a little bit. But I noticed this in my game yesterday versus Lenorm. I was just playing with him a little bit, and he brought Dragon Ogres. And I had 2 Sporkle Stalkers shooting at Dragon Ogres forever. It took them forever to kill anything. Sporkle Stalkers are great versus infantry, and they're great versus single entities, but it feels like versus multi-entity monstrous units, they just miss a lot. I don't know what that's about. Things are looking a little dire for the Tomb Kings. You Ushopti summon took out an entire Warp Lightning Cannon. That means that summon got 1,000 value all by itself. And it's going for a second one. Still has 30 seconds left to maybe kill. It gets Zap Zap. We'll see. So far for the Skaven, I mean, their build was good. They're playing it pretty well. The Tomb King's build was spicy, but there's a reason Khalida isn't the most meta Lord. And then we had the little asymmetries we were talking about earlier. Some of the Sporkle Stalkers they chose in the gods ended up in melee combat, which is not ideal for them, so they're just getting taken out a little bit. But it wasn't all bad. Tomb Kings got through the front line. They just didn't have enough really oomph left after that point to do anything with it. The Ushopti summon has faded away, and with them goes army losses. Khalida is gone. Everybody's gone. And Skaven reigns supreme as an S-tier faction. So the Sporkle Stalkers and the Ushopti Great Bow is not going to get a lot of value. But the Netkar Warriors did roll through the front line pretty quickly. They don't get a ton of value either, but you're routing Skaven, Slaves, and Clan Rats, right? You're not going to get a ton of value that way. For Dr. Nerd, his weapons teams got a lot of value, except for the one that got massacred by the Ushopti summon. Globes did fine, especially that one. That one did amazing. Plague Monks held the front line, and the staggered formation of the Skaven did buy them a lot of time, so I like that. Good stuff, good stuff. Dr. Nerd's been pretty solid. He's been in the new player stuff for quite a while, and he plays in other tournaments and things. So, well, is he the best player alive? Is he Alfredino Reborn? No, but whenever he's in a new player tournament, he is in my top 3 for who's going to win the whole thing. So I wouldn't feel bad at all for losing to him. It is what it is. Is he so amazingly good that he shouldn't be in new player tournaments? No, but he is usually the favorite when he's in them. So he's pretty good. Alrighty, what do we have here? What do we have here? Hold on. This is Yashkov versus Makeshift Ocean. I kind of breezed through it without paying attention to who it was, and that's not nice. That's not nice to do. Yashkov versus Makeshift Ocean. We've actually seen both these players today. We saw Makeshift versus Sir Catbeard, I believe, if memory serves, and we saw Yashkov versus Grumps. So, for Yashkov on the High Elves, we have Imrik, Frostheart Phoenix, 2 Tyrannok Chariots, which is kind of Chad, and then White Lions of Grace, Rangers, Silvern Guard, War Lions of Grace, and Swan Sea Guard with Lifecaster. Just regrowth for her. On the other side, for the Warriors of Chaos, we have some Chaos Knights, Armored Chaos Trolls, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle with great weapons, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal with Plague of Rust, Searing Doom, and then his Tormentor Sword Net. We have Herald Hammerstorm, Marauders for a front line, and some Skull Crushers of Khorne. Interesting. Chaos Knight's going to get charged by Imrik. While I'm thinking about the builds, the High Elf build has Rangers and Tyrannok Chariots, which are pretty Chad, but I don't know if they're actually that good. Tyrannok Chariots are like a missile chariot, but they don't do that much damage. Though some High Elf mains kind of like them. I'm not sold. Otherwise, the High Elf build is good and cohesive. I think Rangers are slightly suboptimal, but I don't think they're game-losingly bad. For the Chaos build, I think the Chaos build is a bit weaker. It's very interesting, but pure meta, just raw win-loss, I would have to say I don't love it. Herald, outside of the undead matchups, is rather underwhelming. Most foot hero combat characters are, because especially against the High Elves, they're just going to avoid you. They're going to avoid you until the late game and then cycle charge you to death. That's just what they're going to do. So I think Herald's not the greatest here. Skull Crushers of Khorne would be good if they had Dragon Princes or something, but they don't. So it's a little risky. The rest of it's fine. The Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, Marauders, Trolls and stuff, the Metals Caster is fine. But I think Harry and Skull Crushers are a bit of a bait. And that's 3,000 gold that I'm talking about. So it's not insignificant, whatever. It's oh god, that's a lot of money. Also, the Nurgle Chaos Warriors, you're paying a lot for armor piercing, which I talk about this a lot with the High Elves, but they don't actually have that much armor. Like, the Rangers don't, their Spearmen usually don't. These are Silver and Guard, but usually you're going to be facing a front line of Spearmen, and then you don't need armor piercing. They only have 40 armor. They have insanely high melee defense. You need insanely high melee attack, but you don't need armor piercing to get through them. It's not egregious, I just thought I'd mention it. Rangers fighting against these Trolls and Marauders, but Imric, not Imric, Frostheart Phoenix. Where is Imric? Oh, he's chasing after the Chaos Knights. Okay. Imric's trying to come back now. Let's see what the Skull Crushers can do, because they're going to have to get involved somewhere and really make an impact on this game. Chaos Warriors of Nurgle are chewing through Rangers, and they will eventually win. Like, they will. I just think you're paying too much for them winning, but yeah, they'll win, for sure. If they wouldn't, that's super sad. Warlions of Krace are getting massacred by the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle and Harry, so that's going quite well for these guys, and the Skull Crushers are here to help out a little bit against this Frostheart Phoenix along with the Trolls. So the frontline fight is going well for Chaos, as you'd hope it would, considering how much investment they put in it. The mobility fight really isn't going their way. The Chaos Knight got deleted by Imric, and the Skull Crusher is being forced to join the frontline fight, so he's not loving that, but it is what it is. Armored Chaos Trolls are going to get to Lothern Seaguard, and the Tyrannok Chariots are continuing to kite out these Chaos Trolls. There goes a Breath Attack, but Imric chooses the wrong Skull Crushers to shoot at. Not the player's fault, just a thing that happens, but he shoots at one or two instead of the main clump. Here comes a really nice Searing Doom onto two clumped up units. That's going to be good poke damage considering how cheap of a spell it is. It is very good. And the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal is trying to keep his trolls in on the fight, but he himself is getting sniped up by the Frostheart Phoenix and not enjoying it. And that's even without Imric weighing in. Chaos Warriors of Nurgle do have to rejoin the fight. Looks like they won a fight and then went AFK. These are the ones who are beating up Rangers. So the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle are doing some good work here, but the Skull Crushers of Khorne are now getting caught out by Imric. Chaos Trolls are fighting Lothern Seaguard, which many people have tried to fight Lothern Seaguard, and if you are large, they will beat you. It is a bad time to be a large target. Harry is back in the fight, dealing with the White Lions of Krace. He'll break their charge on these Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, and he does have some debuffs. He lowers their weapon strength and lowers their leadership, so it could be easier for these Chaos Warriors of Nurgle to get some work done, while other Chaos Warriors of Nurgle lumber up and try and help out the Metals Caster, who has debuffed the Frostheart Phoenix off and on. A Regrowth is cast onto Rangers. I don't know if that was a mistake or not. If it was intentional, it seems a little bit ambitious. If it was not intentional, then I will leave it alone, as Harry does pop his, he has his hammer, right? The Hammer of Harry that routes all these guys, makes them tear up. Chaos is proving rather scrappy. While I had criticisms of their build, overall their play has been pretty fine. I haven't noticed a lot of units being AFK for too long. Little breaks in micro here from some of these Chaos Warriors in Nurgle, but they're usually picking fights. They're usually picking alright fights, but here comes the Imric snipe. This is usually why you take Imric, is for battlefield presence and for good dueling. If you become the Master of the Skies, you can just dive in onto whatever target you want to snipe out, take care of it, and then come back for the rest of the army later. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord is routing away. Tyrannok Chariots taking a lot of damage as Rangers jump in to try and bail it out. But I think without the Chaos Sorcerer, this game is probably wrapped up, as the Trolls' fickle leadership will falter and fail. And then it'll just be Imric cycle charging Chaos Warriors of Nurgle while he gets regen from Regrowth. So it'll be fine. Alright, somebody had a question about the tournament stuff. Can Chaos do this? Looks suspect. These Chaos Warriors of Nurgle can probably beat both of the things in front of them, but they wouldn't get much further after that. Frostheart Phoenix with a Regrowth on it dives onto Harry. Harry should be able to beat up all these guys, but he can't beat up all those guys and Imric. And Imric's over there, full HP, chilling. He even has a breath attack too, right? No, he actually has no breath attacks. I'll play it on ×2 speed for a second as we're just getting through the infantry grind. I really don't know what the Warriors of Chaos can do, but if they can do anything, we can see it at ×2 speed, because it's going to be just Harry grinding through everything, if he even can. He does not have self-regeneration, does not have anything of the like, and actually army loss is just hits, taking everybody else out. Now it is just Harry, and there's no hope here for him. That is GG for Makeshift Ocean. Yashkov will be advancing. And Makeshift did stick with the theme, deployed 666 units. For Yashkov, Imric got 3,100 value, which is very, very good. Frostheart Phoenix did fine. Tyrannok Chariots got 800 and 600 gold, so it depends on how expensive they are, whether or not that was worth it. then the infantry did fine. Warlions did fine. GG. For makeshift, Metal Lord got 900 value. Harry got 1,000. Skull Crusher's only 300. Chaos Knights got sniped right away. But the Chaos Warriors and Nurgle with great weapons actually did do really good work, despite my misgivings about them. The Armor Trolls did fine-ish for just being disruptive regen pieces. And Marauders were okay. But yeah. GG. GG's. All right. 1 second. I don't have any lower bracket replays, and one of the lower bracket players did invite me to their lobby, so I'll see if they're still around. If they're in game, I'll leave them alone. But I believe they're this thing right here that says fun. In case that is the case, I'll put up a blocker. As I type in apparently code. On the top side, my tournament pick, Olaf the Moose, is currently still alive and sitting right there, right in the semifinals, I guess you'd call it. Wesley Bravo and Zarkas fight and see who will go fight him. Down here, there's no spoilers because we're all caught up. We are going to watch Yashkov versus 1001 Airstrikes here soon. And I'm waiting for replays from Lowry and Face, and then Tinnitus Anglesmith and Dr. Nerd. Things are cruising along here tonight, which is good, which is fine. I'm fine with that. Zarkas did advance to go fight Olaf the Moose. Wesley Bravo falls down here waiting for the winner of Yashkov and 1001. You sent the replay from the first round? I saw that. Armored infantry are great into high elves? It's true, I just meant you don't usually need the armor piercing. Like, you don't usually need great weapons versus high elves, you can just get Chaos Warriors regular and save yourselves the 100 gold. Ah shit, my player left. They're going to Yashkov's lobby, but I do need a spec slot. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. You want the AP? It depends on what your unit's trying to do. If you're just trying to get through the front line and get onto the archers and shut all them down, then you don't need the AP. And usually, armor-piercing units usually have lower melee attack and melee defense stats to pay for their armor-piercing. Usually. Like if you look at Black Orcs versus Savage Orc Biggins. Or Savage Orcs. Right? They have lower melee attack because they don't get Frenzy, they don't get all those things. Alright, looks like we have Beastmen, Dark Elves. Both players' builds are ready. It looks like they had a problem with their previous lobby, so they just loaded up and hit ready to go here. I also don't think Chaos Warriors of Nurgle are going to get onto like Dragon Princes or Imrik for very long. If the High Elf player lets you do that, and that's a mistake on their part. It's not really the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle doing very well. So that's how I feel about that. Versus the High Elves, the infantry is just going to get through the enemy infantry and archers, and for that you usually don't need armor piercing. You need armor-piercing cav, or you need armor-piercing missiles to deal with Imrik and the Dragon Princes and other heavy cav and those sorts of things, but on the infantry, not as much. You can if it's free. If you're after a unit type that already comes with armor-piercing and you want the other aspects of the unit type, it's fine. But if you're paying extra money for the armor-piercing, I'd pass. That's just me. There's a lot of different ways to play the game, a lot of different ways you can do stuff. Is it feasible to beat Grand Cathay's Khorne? No. No, not really. Not at all. Alright. For 1001 airstrikes, we have 4 Dark Rider repeated crossbows. We do have a Black Guard of Nagron. We have a Frontline of Dread Spears and Bleak Swords. Then we have 4 Dark Shards and a Supreme Sorceress of Dark with Soul Stealer as their only spell. And aside for the Beastmen, we have a Frontline of Zongors. Some Ungor Spearmen Herd. 4 Ungor Raiders. Nope, just 3. 4 Minotaurs. 1 is anti-infantry, 2 are shielded, 1 has great weapons. We have some Chaos Warhounds, some Razorgore herds. We do have a Great Bray Shaman of Wilds with just Traderkin and Evolve. Cool. Is it possible for Khorne to win versus Grand Cathay? Like, it's possible, but you're not setting yourself up for success. Goes on, Gores. You'll never have beaks. And that's okay. CA has decided you don't deserve special models. You deserve normal Beastman models. And I honestly don't hate that. I know some people really wanted bird models for them, and that would have been cool too, but I'm also fine with this. You think Khorne can win it heavily disfavored? Yeah. Okay. Anyone can beat anyone, but I'm saying that 2 equally skilled players, it is unlikely. Timer ticks down and we are starting. Dark Elves start to move. They do have their Dark Riders on the flanks, but the Beastmen also had all of their forces in the vanguard, so both sides given a little bit of a surprise. Zongor sprint in. They should beat the Dread Spears and Bleak Swords pretty handily, especially with Minotaur support, but we'll see what they can get done after that, as the Ungor Raiders are going to start teeing off into the Supreme Sorcerers of Dark. Are the Dark Shards shielded? No. In that case, they should probably be shooting at Dark Shards, though I guess they have some flanking Chaos Warhounds that are hoping to do some of that work for them. But the Raiders, without a net or anything pinning the Sorceress in place, they're just not going to get a lot of damage onto her, and then she can Soul Stealer the damage off. So I think she'll be okay. Dark Riders in the backfield are going to have to probably turn into melee form and run into some of these Ungor Raiders to get really good value, or run up and shoot the Minotaurs. They're going to have to really work to get their value out, because this Beastman build isn't super conducive to them getting a lot of damage. Razorgore Herd's going to get a beautiful charge on the Dark Shards, and as long as their charge bonus is active, they have really good stats. But it's when that charge bonus wears off, things get a little spicy. Dark Shards getting surrounded by Chaos Warhounds and torn apart. It is a tough start for the Dark Elves, Though it's not exactly going amazing for the Beastmen either. Their front line is taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Is that what front lines are for? Yes, but just saying, it's not been all free. A Devolve is cast on one of the Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, lowers their speed by 25%. They're still going to kite away from the Minos, and they're still, even at their lower speed, they are faster, so as soon as that charge wears off, they should be able to get to safety. We'll see how well the Dark Elves can really kite this out. Their front line is holding just fine, and oh, that's going to be a nasty breath attack onto the two clumped up Ungor Raiders. Beautiful stuff there from these guys. We'll see if she can get a Soul Stealer onto some Minos to heal up a little bit, but also get some of that damage rolling. Damage value is very even, though slightly in the favor of the Dark Elves. And the Dark Elves do have all the healing aspects, and that being just Soul Stealer on their Giant Dragon Lord, but I mean it's Soul Stealer on their Giant Dragon Lord, for God's sakes. The Beastmen have literally no healing that they brought here. They don't have the Butcher Scout Guard, they don't have the Gronkos, they don't have any of that shit. Two archers routed off by the Giant Dragon Lord. She needs to find a new target now, and probably the Brave Shaman of Wild would be a good target, though you do have to be careful with these Minotaurs. Don't want to hang out near them for too long. Dragon Lords get back from the sky. She needs more orders. The Dark Elf Dragon Lord is usually brought because she has self-healing, she's a caster, and she's a really good melee combatant, but as with any Dragon Lord, she's expensive, and she has to do a bunch of shit to pay for herself. So anytime she's not moving around, not casting spells, not doing things, is a serious detriment to the Dark Elves. We have 3 Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows trying to kite out the Minotaurs with shields, but they're not 360 shooting, and that does make it a little harder to kite them out, but they are doing their best. She was casting a Soul Stealer on this blob over here. It was canceled as she threw down her Opal Amulet. Hopefully she realizes it was canceled and casts a spell anew in a little bit here. Traderkin is going to hit her instead. She needs a counter Soul Stealer for some of that healing. The Dark Riders continue to kite away from these Minos with shields. And 2 Dark Riders are back in the main fight. 2 Dark Riders are playing with the Minos in the distance. Dark Riders should go into melee with these Ungor Raiders and just push them off. They shouldn't go into a slap fight. And yeah, that looks good. I'm glad they didn't just sit and shoot. Some people can make that mistake, but good stuff. You're good stuff. Devolve onto the Supreme Sorceress of Dark. She needs to get back in the sky. She needs to Soul Stealer. She is very low on HP, and this battle isn't going to go crazy long. So she really needs to start getting those Soul Stealers out to get it back on cooldown. But she does get stuck on the ground by the Ungor Raiders, and she needs orders, and she needs them faster. Much, much faster on the orders for her. Looks like there's the Soul Stealer a little late, and it's not as optimal of a blob punishment as was available earlier, but she just needs it for now to heal her from the Minos, and she really needs to get back in the sky. But she doesn't get far enough away. She loses her orders and stands right in front of the Minotaurs, which is going to cost her quite a lot. And now the Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows are doing exactly what I wish they wouldn't do, and they're just trading fire with these Ungor Raiders, which is always going to favor the Ungor Raiders. Any standing archer will generally out-trade Skirmish Cav value-wise, just because you'd kind of hope so, right? The Skirmish Cav are paying for speed and all that stuff, but the Ungor Raiders have less models. For 1,001 airstrikes, the Dark Elf Sorceress does get into the sky, finally gets to safety, and maybe with 2 more Soul Stealers can feel safe to land again, but for now is going to have to be very careful. Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows need to fall back. They're getting charged by Minos, and they're taking all this damage from Ungor Raiders. The Dark Elves having some execution errors in the late game. Ungor Raiders try and path out of here. Sorry, Dark Riders do, but their leadership's dipping awful low. What can they get done? We still have 1 healthy Blackguard of Naggarond, which could be a real problem for the Beastmen in the late game. We still have 4 Skirmish Cav, all of which have a ton of ammunition, but we'll see how much of it they can really leverage into use. For the Beastmen, still 4 Minotaurs. 3 of them are quite damaged. 1 is like full HP, though it's getting breath attacked right now, so stand by. A little bit of damage, but not crazy. Other than that, they have their Lord, and everything else is too low to really matter at this point. Wouldn't hate for another Soul Stealer right there on top of the Blackguard, but we can see as she dives down into the Brave Shaman of Wilds, knocks her away, and is there a Minotaur punish? It looks like it's coming. She needs to back out. She can't do this. She can't take this fight. This ain't a fight you can take. This is an illegal fight. Oh, no. She's going to get Traderkin. She's going to get sandwiched between 3 Minos. This is the death of the Dark Elves if I've ever seen it. Unless it's all a master bait. Ha. Anyway, unless it's all a masterful bait. Ha. She's going to Soul Stealer all 4 of these units, try and heal up and get these crossbows to help her out. But it was just not, if that was the plan, it was not worth it, and it did not work out at all as she gets straight up massacred, and that is going to be GG against the Dark Elves. Dragon Lords are powerful, Dragon Lords are bullshit, Dragon Lords are annoying, but they are also very difficult to get your value out of them. At this point, the Dark Elves are going to try and kite it out, but they don't really have the DPS or the ammunition to do this, and especially not without 360 shooting. A Devolve is down, lowering the leadership and speed of these guys as they try and run away. It looks like their leadership is going to dip to -1 for just a second, then it does rally a little bit. Dark Elves still have a Black Guard hanging out, crushing through some fools, and Dark Rider Peter Crossbows are trying to help that a little bit. There's just so much. So many Beastmen left, man. They can't do this. As the Black Guard attempt to do exactly that, they attempt to, in fact, do this. Some Dark Riders get caught up on Ungor Raiders. Unable to move, they take a quarter of their HP on the rear charge from those Minotaurs. And it's a bad time. It's a bad time to be a Dark Elf. Black Guard getting crushed by these Minos. These are the anti-infantry variant. So they're getting a little extra stats. In comes the Dark Rider volley. It mostly misses. They're getting counter-shot at by Ungor Raiders. One of the Dark Riders is routing away. This other one is about to get surrounded. As Spearmen close in behind it, Minos are going to charge it in the front. Slip away. Good job then. Good job, you. Another Devolve trying to slow these guys down, let the Minos catch them up with some charge speed shenanigans. It doesn't look to be the case. The difference appears to be too great even for that. These guys are back. They're going to fire at the Minos that are sprinting straight at them. These are great weapons. They're unshielded. Can you guys get a shot off? Nope. Looks like you're just going to run away like little cowardly bastards. Dark Rider Peter Crossbows do not have firewall moving, so even when they're facing the right direction, they do have to stop to shoot. At least these Minos will get out of range, chase those guys off the battlefield. Army losses is closing in. I think the Dark Elves could have clutched this game out. I think their build was fine. They could have clutched it out if their Dragon Lord was still alive at this point in the game, but she's not, so that's kind of how that goes.
They're charging us!
Are they charging you? Oh, I think they're charging you. I think you're full of shit. Dark Rider's last volley of the game. What are you going to do? Minos are closing in. What are you going to do? Figure it out! That was a pretty pathetic last shot. Yeah, you better army loss after that shameful display. What's your opinion on Minotaur variants, Human Moon? Great weapons, purists, like all kinds? Great weapons or shields are the only two I ever take. I take shields in very few matchups, but a couple. Versus Tzeentch. Versus Kislev. I can take the shield variants. Versus Grand Cathay. Things like that. British Aim Wilds did fine. Minos did fine. They got run around the map mostly. Zongors didn't do amazing. Razorgore Herds did well, as did the dogs. Ungor Raiders did mixed, but overall fine. For the Supreme Sorceress of Dark, only 1,000 value for her, which is pretty bad. 2,000 on the Blackguard is real good. Dark Riders did fine. Dark Shards, they did fine. They got shut down pretty early. I'd say for this Dark Elf build, probably cut 2 of the regular Dark Shards and get a couple Dark Riders or Cold One Knights or something to defend your backline. 5 Dark Shards feels like a lot to defend against Beastmen because they might have Centaurs, they might have Dogs, they might have Harpies, they might have Minobus, and all those are very hard to defend without mass, right? Because the Minos can just sprint through your front line and get on the Dark Shards like the Dogs snuck up and did it. Razorgords did too, so yeah. GG. GG's, brothers. Oh, fuck. Wait, no, I wanted to go that far back. That's fine. We got 2 replays coming in. From Lowry and Catface. We love Catface. Catface is my 3rd favorite Catface. It's actually fucking insane. I'm going to track down another replay that was not sent to me. While we cast this, Egg versus Aya. Egg versus Aya. That's classic. That's classic. 1001 airstrikes. You did great, buddy. You did great. Warriors of Chaos versus Dark Elves. A tale as old as time. A song as old as rhyme. Beauty and, in fact, the beast. For the Dark Elves, we have Malekith up at his dragon. Don't see that very often. Gaze of Malice and Soul Stealer for him. More Dark Riders, Repeater Crossbows. We have some Shades. Black Corsair handbows. Wait, no, just Black Corsair's regular. 1 handbow in the back. 2 Hargoneth Executioners and a Cold One Knight. Huzzah, huzzah. For the Warriors of Chaos, we have Marauder Horsemasters, Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, 1 on each flank of each type. We have a Chaos Giant, Archaon the Ever-Chosen with Spirit Leech and Searing Doom. Marauders of Slaanesh the Hellscourges, basic Marauders up front with some Forsaken, the Severed Claw, and more Forsaken in the backline. Cool, cool. I do like Forsaken every so often. They're rare in their use, but they can have a use. 42 melee attack with a very high weapon strength is actually rather cool, and they do have 85 armor. Everybody's moving up. The skirmish cav of the Warriors of Chaos is going to be a bit of a problem for the Dark Elves. They only have 1 melee cavalry that wants to really deal with this, and that can be really tough for these Golden Knights to take on, especially if the skirmish cav separate out and just kind of flank in at all angles. But, oh god, the front line went horrifically. These Forsaken got massacred, as did the Marauders. Other Marauders also routing off already, and it is a disaster for the red team's front line as some Marauders with Hellscourges get dove on by Malekith. His charge attacks through them. They cannot tear out because they are Slaanesh, their ITP. But still, it's pretty brutal. Archaon checks out his first of many Searing Dooms onto the Hargoneth Executioners and the Black Corsair handbows. But yeah. Chaos Skirmish Cav coming back in. They should do fine versus these Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows. They're generally just more suited to the task of fighting them, especially in melee as they plow in and crush these nerds. Okay. The red front line is getting torn apart. Great job from the Dark Elves on that. They got some good engagements. They've done some good ranged capabilities, yada yada, etc. So far, so good. The flanks should belong to Chaos, as they have better skirmish cav and more of it. Cold One Knights do catch out the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. I have 5 messages. What are they about? Alright. Dun 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 dun. Caught up with most things. Malekith took a lot of damage, an awful lot of damage while I was reviewing those messages to see if there was anything super important for me to be dealing with right now. But he does have Soul Stealer to heal right back up. He really doesn't care that much. Peter, the Reaper Bolt Throwers are trying to poke at the Chaos Giant a little bit as Shades are getting chased off by him and the Skirmish Cav. Now this is one of those moments where I do mention Skirmish Cav needs to use its hybrid mantle. The Warriors of Chaos player did really well at doing that at first, but in this moment, this Marauder Horsemaster 100% needs to charge into melee against this Reaper Bolt Thrower. Oh god, that breath attack! Okay. Needs to go into melee with this Reaper Bolt Thrower or with the Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows and just take them out. They did it earlier in the game, so I know they know how. It's just a little bit of a whoopsie here. And that breath attack from Malekith, I appreciate what he was trying to do, but he did just one-shot 2 of his own units. He does probably need to get directly above the single entity he's targeting. If you're targeting a single entity, you need to be above it. If you're targeting a multi-entity model, you need to be as far away as possible, but still get a breath attack. That's the rule of breath attacks. Because if you're far away, the angle will come in and hit a lot of different things. So if you're aiming at a single entity, you won't hit it with nearly as much of the breath attack, and you will hit your own units, as we just saw there. The Hargoneth Executioners are winning whatever melee fight they can get in. Right now, they're dodging a Searing Doom. Nice dodge there, nice dodge. And Malekith's fighting the Severed Claw, but Archaon's coming back in. Does he have his buffs? If he does, Malekith's in for a bad, bad time. Cold Knights are trying to peel for him, but they're taking a lot of damage. The Giant continues to creep in. Malekith is surrounded now, needs to get out of here and use Soul Stealer to heal himself back up. Meanwhile, Hargoneth Executioners are trying to rejoin the fight, and they are crushing it whenever they get into a melee combat. Malekith's starting to pass out now. The Repeater Crossbows are still shooting at the Giant. The Giant's below half HP. The Marauder Horsemen and Horsemasters are dominating the mobile game so much that the Dark Elves are just having a tough time coming back at all, if they ever rout. For Chaos, though, they have almost no infantry left, and the Hargoneth Executioners are more than up to the task of killing off the Severed Claw. So it is a rare time that the Severed Claw are not actually going to be world beaters in the late game. They are actually quite vulnerable. For the sides of Chaos, they have these healthy Skirmish Cav that are a big problem for the Dark Elves. Full health Archaon is a huge problem for the Dark Elves, and that's really it. The Giant's not such a big problem. The Hargoneth Executioners can take care of him. The Hargoneth Executioners can take care of the Severed Claw. It's not a problem. Good skirmish cav play. A terror out from Archaon takes care of the Cold Knights, and now the skirmish cav should be able to clean this up. And Malekith needs some Soul Stealers out, if only to preserve the balance of power, if nothing else. Because how low he's getting and how low the Dark Elves are getting, they might get army loss before they're truly done here. That's a beautiful Soul Stealer. Hits 4 important units. Does not hit the Horse Masters, but it does still hit the Chaos Giant. So it is going to get a lot of damage out while healing up Malekith. That's a 2-for-1 on trying to save this balance of power. As the Dark Elves continue to try and rally someone somewhere for some reason. Argynth Executioners volleying forward for a fight. Volleying? Volleying. Volleying is the word we chose there. Sallying. That's the word we meant to choose. We didn't choose it, but we meant to. And that counts for just as much. Malekith gets another Breath Attack off onto the Chaos Giant and a little bit on the Marauder Horse Masters. That was overall quite solid. The bounce power has been resuscitated for the Dark Elves. It's not quite as abysmal now. Skirmish Cav, still doing very, very well here. And Malekith tries to land on some of them. He's being big. He's being spooky. This little charge attack off. Good for you, Mally Mal. Never let him tell you who you are, Malekith. Never. There's Archaon, the Chaos Giant, and the lads trying to just secure a GG, trying to get army losses to proc. They are definitely advantaged. I'm not trying to say that, like, army losses is cheesing. I just think, like, the Dark Elves still have a little bit of love left to give in this game. But they're definitely down, and I don't think army losses is ridiculous. Big downhill charge from these Cav, and Malekith tries for a Soul Stealer, but it's too late to save the bounce power. For Egg, I think their early game was good. I think their late game was good. Their mid game, they had a bit of a slip-up that took them too far behind, where Malekith took a ton of damage while I was dealing with some messages, so I did miss that, and I apologize. But Malekith took a bunch of damage off screen, and then after that, he just, like, really couldn't recover into the battle, which is a big problem for him. But aside from that, Egg did pretty alright. For Aya, it was overall solid. Their front line got destroyed in the early game by Egg, but after that, their skirmish cap carried the rest of the game with good charging from Archaon. The Chaos Giant lumbered around. He tried to participate, but he didn't really get too much done, I don't think. I'm going to hover over him. He's going to have insane value, but I assume he didn't get much because it didn't seem like he did much. Argynth Executioners were cool in this matchup. They did cleave through a bunch of stuff, so if the enemy Chaos Warrior rushed you or something, that would be good. Massacred the poor Forsaken. Everything else struggled a little bit, including the Shades. For Aya, Archaon got good value, so did the Severed Claw. Giant did not. Called it. Skirmish Cav all did pretty well, except for, I guess, one Marauder Horseman throwing axes got rolled. And the Marauders and the Forsaken got destroyed. Egg did slaughter them. It's true. It's just true. Can't avoid it. Okay. Okie dokie. For Tinnitus Anglesmith. We will cast the round 3 game. On the top bracket, they prevailed versus Spartan. They lost versus Zarkas. Now on the lower bracket, their run continues. Okay. What do we got? Fortinitis versus Dr. Nerd. Vampire Coast versus Vampire Coast Knight. We have some Marauder Prometheans, Deck Droppers with Bombers, Sirens in the front line with some Depth Guard, and then a couple handguns. We do have a Death Caster with Polearms, Spirit Leech, Doom and Darkness, and Aspect of the Dread Knight, a couple Bombers, 2 Carronades, oh god, the Night Terrors, and a Morgul Haunter. You know, aside for the greenskins of Dr. Nerd, we have 2 Spider Riders, the melee variant, frontline of Gibi Gabo Goblins, Savage Orc Auror Boys, Stone Trolls, Black Orcs, Orc Boarboy Biggins, and then we have Azhag, the Crimson Killas, and an Orc Shaman who brought Fists of Gork. That is triple Black Orc, by the way, because the Crimson Killers are Black Orcs. Triple Black Orc Rush. versus the Vampire Coast. Interesting. Interesting. Fists of Gork is out onto these Stone Trolls, but already their Goblin support is leaving. And if the handguns can get a good shot onto the Stone Trolls, melee defensive melee attack will not help you from getting shot in the goddamn face. And it did not help them from getting shot in the goddamn face. Goblins still grinding against the undead frontline as best they can, but they will lose to Sirens, mostly due to terror routing. And here are the real boys, though. The Black Orcs starting to get up to the front line. Sure, all the goblins routed, and sure, a stone troll already shattered, and sure, that is a bit of a problem, but I mean, we got fucking Black Orcs now, so take that. Aspect of the Dread Knight is out onto the Death Guard, giving them more leadership, magic attacks, and all that stuff, but here's the first Wah. And these Spider Riders in the trees that have not been activated yet, they're currently just getting shot by bombers, but the bombers aren't going to do that much damage to the spread out Spider Riders, especially not ones in the trees. Orc Bormobiggins do need to run at the Night Terrors. The Savage Orc Armor Boys are doing good work. Greenskins are going to slowly cleave through front to back, but slowly is a key word as the Crimson Killers have taken insane damage for how early into the game we are. Orc Bormobiggins take the fight with the Night Terrors. Can the Night Terrors get any support? It looks like they got the charge onto the Broken Tusk Mob, which is good for them, but they're still fighting an anti-large arm-piercing Cav, and they are neither of those things. Well, I guess they're arm-piercing, but yeah. Looks like they're getting left on their own. Without chaff support, the Night Terrors should lose to the Bormobiggins. 2 Carronades firing away. It looks like they're still shooting... Well, some of them are still shooting at the Stone Trolls. The other ones are shooting at the Crimson Killers, which is fine, I guess, but probably want to switch them to large targets. Carronades just have troubles doing a lot of damage to infantry. It's not really their forte. Also, this Morgul Haunter needs to get a little more active. So I think the Coast had a good build. I think they have a good game plan going on so far, but I think they're being a little passive. Like, these Carronades are shooting at some suboptimal targets. The Morgul Haunter is literally just fucking chilling. And the Night Terrors are being left to fight the Broken Tusk Mob. Another Spirit Leech out onto Azhag. I like that a lot. He is on foot, which reduces his health pool compared to being on Skullmuncher. Skullmuncher doesn't really give that many more HP points, but, like, still, I mean, it's something, right? He has no regen. I like Spirit Leeching him a lot. It's a really good target priority. Handguns trying to shoot at Azhag from this distance isn't really going to work out. They probably just need to shoot at the Force Goblin Spider Riders that are currently murking through their back line. The Crimson Killers on the Black Orcs are moving up. I have a Kitty Cat trying to leave the room, so I'm going to help him out while casting from a distance. Black Orcs on the top side are routing as of now. The Crimson Killers are back, however. Kitty Cat is gone. Goblins and Black Orcs on the bottom side are holding steady while the Broken Tusk Mob continue to chase down the Night Terrors. The Night Terrors really needed some form of support to help them out against this fight with the Broken Tusk Mob. Now the Spider Riders have killed off both cannons. The bounce power is coming back from the favor of the Vampire Coast over towards the Greenskins. Well, right now it's going towards the center, but I predict it'll go even further in the favor of the Greenskins as the second Carronade is killed off, as the Night Terrors are killed off, and the Morgul Haunter still has not gotten anything done this game. I've seen him enter combat a few times, but he's just kind of fucking it up. It looks like he's going to go for the Lord Snipe onto Azhag, which is probably wise at this point. That is your best shot of winning this game, and the Morgul Haunter plows straight in there, gets 2 big hits onto Azhag back-to-back as the second and final Wah is out. We're about to lose another handgun mob as the bombers continue to throw as best they can. Morgul Haunter still trying to kill Azhag as the Spirit Leech goes to support him as well. Rotting Prometheans crumbling away. Sirene's still holding for now, providing a little source of terror that if we can get into the late game and Azhag is dead, that source of terror will be very important from the Sirenes. Morgul Haunter provides it too, I suppose. Bomber Bats trying to help out with the blob a little bit, but they really just don't do that much damage to cavalry. They only do damage really to infantry. And even that just clustered up infantry. The Morgul Haunter bashes Azhag, sends him flying through the air instead of actually dealing any damage to him. The Crimson Killers have now surrounded the Fleet Admiral of Death. What was looking good for the Vampire Coast fell apart once their ranged units got compromised by the Spider Riders. It really did start to go downhill. The Morgul Haunter, we are seeing a bit of why we don't usually see him. He is a very expensive melee combatant, and he is missing on Azhag an awful lot for what he brings to the party. There he finally gets a good shot onto Azhag. It is too little, though. It is too late as army losses is going to hit for the Vampire Coast here any second. Azhag is routing. That really doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. Overall, it was a pretty good game. It was a pretty good game. A couple little mistakes here and there cost him, but his spell focus was good. I think the Morgul Haunter just not getting involved earlier or just existing for the price point it does really cost Tinnitus. The rest of the build was doing fine. Sirens did okay. Night Terrors could have used some support, sure. Who's Scott Bloodtail? He's Queek's second in command, but he's the fucking best, dude. He's the fucking best. He's closer to the size of a rat ogre than like a normal Skaven. He's huge. He's giga gigantic, and I love him. The Black Orcs did nothing. My hatred of Black Orcs continues. They did nothing here. Savage Orc Boys did fine. Goblins did fine. The Boar ROR got 1800 value fighting the Night Terrors, which is just pog. And then the other Cav did fine, so GG. GG's, brothers. Brain hurty. Someone's supposed to have a replay for me. Or do they? No, they don't. Which is fine. Lowry is fighting Dr. Nerd right now. If you want to see the bracket, there's no spoilers because we're all caught up. Lowry's fighting Dr. Nerd. Wesley Bravo's fighting Yashkov. We'll get those replays pretty soon. Olaf the Moose has gotten to finals. My tournament pick made it to finals in the winner's bracket. We'll see if he can close it out. Zarkas is waiting up there. So for the games for tonight, we have Lowry and Dr. Nerd, Wesley, and Yashkov. Then Samrick will fight the winner down here. And then whoever wins there will fight that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left for the night. While we are in a waiting period, didn't somebody send me something we were going to cast? Didn't 1001 Airstrike send me something? I know Tinnitus also sent me some. So if we have further downtime, I'll cast some of the stuff that Tinnitus sent my way. But seeing as how we just saw a Tinnitus game, I will flip over and cast 1001 Airstrikes versus Samaric Pale Ale. We teased you with it before. We loaded in, but we didn't actually cast it. But we're back. Just saw Ska on the campaign map for the first time. What's his lore? The very, very brisk version, because we have to keep moving along, is... I do have a quick head taker video, KV, if you care. You could just read... You can listen to that, and that tells you who Ska is, because he's important to Queek. Scott Bloodtail is a gigantic Skaven, and he's Queek's second in command. He does all of the generaling, while Queek does all the fighting. And Ska is super loyal to Queek. While Skaven generally try to backstab each other at every opportunity, Ska seems to legitimately like Queek and want Queek to stay in power and concerns for Queek's safety. And at one point even sacrifices himself to save Queek. So, that's Ska. He's a fiercely loyal bodyguard to Queek, second in command of Clan Wars. Queek's boyfriend, yeah. Alright, Sisters of Twilight for the Wood Elves versus the Empire. Sisters of Twilight up on their dragon, no less. And then a bunch of Eternal Guard with shields. We have 2 Zotes, 2 Blade Singers, one of which is already almost dead, and a Waywatcher in the trees. No caster for the Wood Elves. On the side of the Empire, we have Reiksguard. Looks like 4 of them. 4 Reiksguard. Marcus Wolfhard on the ground with the Amber Bow and his net. And then we have 4 Crossbowmen, the Sunmaker, a front line of Spearmen. 6 Spearmen, in fact, which is illegal. You can only have 5 Spearmen, FYI. And then Bright Wizard, Burning Head, and Cascading Firecloak. Hey, Zarconia. The sisters should have their conjoined destiny unless they didn't take it, which would be silly because you don't have a caster. Oh my god, they didn't take it. Alright, so there's no healing for them no matter what. Sunmaker's still trying to get its day done here before the Wood Elves get up on it. It wants to run out of ammunition, but it does need to shoot at these other Blade Singers. I don't know why it's shooting at the Eternal Guard, but it killed one Blade Singer. It needs to finish off the other one. Otherwise, the Blade Singers will tear through the Empire's front line like nobody's business. Here comes a big charge in, Flesh to Stone from the Zotes, trying to help out these Eternal Guard a little bit, and it does. But man, look at those Blade Singers go. They're already halfway through a Spearman, and they're thinking about routing. Big breath attack in from the Sisters of Twilight, but the crossbows turn to face them, so they won't take nearly as much damage as they would have from across the sides. Reiksguard trying to save this backline, but Zotes and Spears are still pushing up on them as well. That relationship is not unique. Okay, wait. 3 things, Sakura, 3 things. 1, among the Skaven, it is unique, sir. 2, Why you gotta do me like that? It's pretty clear that Ska and Queek are my two favorite characters, so why you gotta do me like that? And 3, Ska is special, alright? No other Skaven would sacrifice his life to save his warlord. He just wouldn't fucking do it. And Ska did it. And Ska managed not to die, but he thought he was gonna die. And why you gotta do me like that? Nah, I didn't deserve that. I'm catching strays I didn't deserve over here. That makes me sad. Alright, we got Zotes fighting Reiksguard, though a Burning Head does come all the way over here and fuck up some Eternal Guard for no reason. Waywatchers also joining the fight means that flank is going to go to the Wood Elves post-haste. One Reiksguard's already routing, the other one's on their way out too. But the Sisters of Twilight have taken an awful lot of damage, and they even die, which is a disaster. The Wood Elves are about to take a leadership spike. That'll get their front line to start routing away. Can they hold on? Now, honestly, maybe, because look at how healthy these Bladesingers are, right? I told you about them earlier. They got to the front line unimpeded, and they are going to roll through this Empire build. No problem whatsoever, especially with all the Reiksguard getting massacred. Reiksguard charging the Bladesingers can get a lot of damage on impact, but like if they're already too damaged, they just can't do anything. Who'd win, Ska or Gorge? Gorge. Easy. I love Ska, but he wouldn't stand a chance. Nope, Sakura, I'm not hearing it. I refuse to acknowledge your points. Ska is special. He is my special boy. And he is the only one, the bestest one, and he deserves all the head pats and muffins. Alright, Zotes chillin', give themselves Flesh to Stone because they do have some hybrid spells in here. An Earth, Blood, and Flesh to Stone they can use a couple times. As they fight back against Reiksguard and Spears and Crossmen. They're living their best lives, though. They love to fight big cavalry like this, so they're just chilling. We have another full health Zote in the distance that is trying to come back to the area as Marcus Wolfhard gets torn apart by Bladesingers. Oh, he's dying. He's dying so fucking quickly. Marcus Wolfhard is a tanky little guy versus large units that keep knocking him around, but against Bladesingers that just surround him and beat his ass. Yeah, he's going to die real fast. So we have a full health, almost full ammunition Waywatcher moving in. The Sunmaker is still shooting, but is shooting at stuff that's already routing. It cannot see the Waywatchers right now. They're stalked, but if it does see them, it should use its last of its ammunition onto those guys. The last Bladesinger is maybe the target for now, but the Sunmaker is actually using its ammunition on an already shattered and dead unit, which is a little unfortunate. Crossman going to get singled out by the Zotes. Other Zotes still fighting against Reiksguard and Spears. Would you pet a Skaven with a Shank or a Khorne Fleshhound? A Skaven with a Shank. Vulcan is better than Mulder. I'm rather partial to Moors, but without Moors, I don't know. I'd probably go with Scryer. Scryer's just really funny. No, Eshin. Fuck that. Eshin's the coolest. Their character's really cool. Snitch is really funny in the books. I like Snitch a lot. Anyway, Crossman shooting at Zotes. Zotes are chasing off various Empire things, which is how I got distracted talking about Skaven lore. It's because not a lot is happening in this exact moment. The Bladesingers are running out of gas. They've just lost a lot of models, so there goes a lot of their DPS. The Waywatchers do get soloed out by Reiksguard, and they got shot with the last couple volleys of the Sunmaker, though they were like half volleys. Just little half volleys. That is a huge win for this Reiksguard. It was already almost dead, but it catches a full health Waywatcher and knocks it down to pretty much gone. That is the only thing maybe keeping the Empire in this game, and I still say maybe. The Wood Elves are certainly favored as Zotes continue to plow in. That's a full health Zote, and there's nothing left to stop it from doing its work. Mousewife Games is just very complimentary right now, and I'm wondering what he wants. Do you have a recommendation for a good Snitch book? I recommended it, and someone didn't like it, but I really liked Gracie or Thankful's Omnibus, the second one. I believe it's the Temple of the Serpent is the second Thankful book. So, the Wood Elf game is going to resolve right behind me. We're going to watch this Zote cycle charge some stuff to death, okay? But then it's story time. It's story time. So we're hanging out with the Zote, okay. So, no. This is real shit. This is real shit that happens in the Thankful book, and it's not even the main plot. It's not even the main plot. But Snitch shows up at the very start. Oh, spoilers. Snitch shows up at the very start to see Thankful. So Thankful's in this little teeny tiny apartment, as the Zotes get a badass charge. Thankful's in this teeny tiny little apartment, and Bone Ripper is guarding him. And they get a knock on the door. And Thankful tells his worthless servant that he had, like, he's not even named because he's worthless. He's like, I told you I'm not supposed to be disturbed. And then the door opens, the servant falls in dead, and Snitch walks through the front door. And Thankful's like, shit, fuck! Bone Ripper, kill! And Bone Ripper gets up, he pounds his chest and all this stuff. Snitch doesn't even blink. He does this, like, ballerina spin underneath Bone Ripper on the charge, stabs Bone Ripper, like, through the brain and all this stuff. As Bone Ripper's body falls to the dust, Snitch is on the other side of him and getting closer to Thankful, and Thankful's like, I give up? And Snitch just walks up and goes, I was just trying to invite you to dinner. And Gracie goes, cool, dude. Hell yeah, let's go. And they just fucking go to dinner, leaving Bone Ripper and that random slave just dead in Thankful's apartment. So Snitch takes him out to dinner. It's baller. It's the best fucking thing. I love it. I love it. Alright, we're back. We're focusing. What's happening? Elsewhere, while I was distracted by chat, the Empire have reformed a bit of an enclave here. They have some spearmen, a Bright Wizard for his Encourage aura to try and keep people in the fight for a little bit, Crossman getting a little damage out. But can all these spearmen really stand up to a full health Zote? If this was all like one spearman unit, maybe, but the fact that they're all quite damaged makes me think that they'll all just rout. Skaven are actually just a rat frat? No! Was Snitch a scout in his younger days? Oh, most likely. That's how most of them start. Bright Wizard's chilling out, doing his best to not die, but still provide his Encourage aura. Reichsguard are going to go chase off anything they can to make sure it doesn't come back. We do have a Cascading Fire Cloak cast onto someone. It is the healthiest of the spearmen. Got the Cascading Fire Cloak. And the Zotes are down to half HP and falling as they fight all these spearmen. The spearmen did not crumble nearly as fast as I thought they might. Reichsguard are routing away of their own volition as they try to chase down the Zotes on the other side, but the Zotes here are continuing to try and blitz through. No spells left for them. No spells left for their compatriots either. And the Zotes continue to lose HP, lose balance of power. The Crossmen are back and turning to fire at the Zotes, getting a little bit more poke damage, but also lowering that leadership down to critical points. But the Zotes are actually going to leave the Spearmen and charge at the Crossmen, taking damage as they do so. -1 leadership, -15, and they rout! And the Empire does clutch victory out here. I'm a little surprised. I'm shocked. How's it turning? Good. Next Skaven DLC wishes. Vermin Lords. Thankful. Storm Fiends, I guess. I don't know. Skaven are a very complete roster. Like, honestly, as a Skaven main, I would be happy if they just released Thankful as a free LC attached to another DLC about an entirely different race and moved on. Because Skaven are a very complete roster compared to a lot of the other stuff in the game. And though I'm a Skaven fanboy, I am like, man, there's, out of the 24 rosters in the game, 22 of them need stuff more than Skaven do. So I'm just like, just drop Thankful in a free LC and then move on. Like, we're good. We're chilling. Okay. I have 2 messages. There's some things about... So here's this. There are some things about Skaven I would like updated, but there's not a lot of things about Skaven that need to be new to the game, you know? Where, like, the Bonebreaker mounts, the Rat Ogre mounts for, like, the Warlord and the Chieftain could use some work. Regular Brood Horrors could use some work. Doom Wheels could use some work. Doom Flayers. Like, there's a lot of things about the Skaven that need buffs or nerfs or things like that. But as for new content, they really just need Thankful and move on. TBH. So we did get 2 of our bottom bracket replays. Yashkov versus Thagaraki, which was Wesley Bravo. And then I do have Lowry versus Dr. Nerd. this is the Slaanesh build I recommend versus Brett. No. No. So my Slaanesh build versus Brett. Pausing, because the Slaanesh player here asked me for my build, which is why I'm talking about it. I'm not just trying to distract you. My actual Slaanesh build versus Brett that so far has done well for me is the Chaos Lord of Slaanesh on horseback with his Rampage sword. And then I have a Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh with only Pavane of Slaanesh, which it looks like you have, so that's good. And then I have the Eternal Entourage ROR Heartseekers, and then I have 2 more Heartseekers, and then like 8 Marauders. What do you do after that if you even have any money, which I don't think you do, is fine. Do whatever you want. You throw the Marauders at the front line, they'll hold forever. Even if Bretonnia actually invests in their front line, they're not going to get through Marauders super quickly. So your Marauders will do fine. And then your Heartseekers and your various Rampagers go around, and you just try and annoy the Archers a little bit. I think you can afford a Hellstrider. I think you can. So you can run in on the Archers with a Hellstrider, and either the Grail Knights or the Hippogriff Knights have to go and help the Archer, and then you countercharge them with your Heartseekers, or the Grail Knights and the Hippogriff Knights don't take the bait, but then you're still getting a free Archer out of it, so you're fine. And the whole thing is to just use spells to rampage the Grail Knights or Hippogriff Knights into fighting your single entities is preferable, and then your Heartseekers can get a countercharge. It's fine to have your Heartseekers fight a Grail Knight in the open if you can truly get an in the open fight, but what you usually want to do is charge, break the Grail Knight's charge with your single entity, your Chaos Lord or your Chaos Sorcerer. You'll take a little bit of damage, but that's fine. And then you cast your Rampage, whether it's your sword or whether it's the Pavane. Get them to Rampage into a fight where your Heartseekers got their charge bonus and the enemy doesn't have theirs. That's generally how I like to play it. Just for a heads up, since the player specifically asked me what I take in this matchup. As for what we actually have in front of us, you do have 3 Hellstriders of Slaanesh. Ooh, wait, we have a Seeker too, a basic Seeker. And Bretonnia is going to catch them on the charge, so we have Grail Knights and Knights of the Lionhearted. Now, 2 of the Slaanesh Cav are getting their charges off, but the enemy is still going to do okay. And I noticed that the basic Seekers just really don't have the DPS to rock through Grail Knights. They're doing fine here, but they won't overcome the healing, and then without the Rampage support, these guys can just back off. The Seekers did get a nice wrap around the Grail Knights. I did like that. For the rest of the Slaanesh build, we have Chaos Warriors and Marauders, some with Hell Scourges, some without. We have basic Demonettes, a Sorcerer of Slaanesh, and Sigvald in the trees, lumbering over here as fast as they can. For Bretonnia of Knights of the Lionhearted, Grail Knights, Knights of the Realm, and Knights of the Realm. A front line of Men-at-Arms, and then some Battle Pilgrims mixed in here. No Archers at all, a Damsel of Life, and Luin Lane Curry. So the Hellstriders are getting chased all around. Seekers pretty darn low, still getting chased off by the Grail Knights, and they should be faster. They should get out of here, but charge bonus is a hell of a drag at times. Are the Mirror Guard worth taking? Not in this matchup. Heavy Infantry just isn't going to do you any good here. Seekers do get killed off in the distance due to that Demonic Instability crumbling. Thought your anti-large Hellstriders. The problem with the Hellstriders is their anti-large got nerfed significantly. They only have 5 bonus versus large now, which makes their stats essentially 29-26. And your armor-piercing weapon damage is only a third of your weapon strength, so it's unfortunate, but just not going to get through the Bretonnian Knights, unfortunately. Not going to happen. Hellstriders both routing off, and now Slaanesh has lost all of their mobility presence on the battlefield. Looks like we have a Pavane of Slaanesh cast on the Knights of the Lionheart. It'll get a little bit of damage out, might even rampage them into these Chaos Warriors and stuff. But without real strong armor piercing, there's not going to be a lot of true punishment here. Even if these guys rampage, they'll just take like teeny tiny bit of damage with the Chaos Warriors, and then they'll get away. They'll be fine. Sorcerer of Slaanesh dove on by Luin. Chaos Warriors and Devoted Marauders walking past him, but even if they came back here, they really wouldn't do that much damage. It's kind of the point of trying to get across here. Grail Knights are going to charge Demonettes full free. And while their charge bonus and all that stuff did get nerfed because they don't have nearly as much mass as they did back in the summer, they'll still do fine against unbraced 10 armor, low mass Demonettes. Sigvald and all the infantry trying to find a fight, though Bretonnia is just cycle charging as they see fit. One of the Demonettes is almost dead for fighting the Grail Knights, getting some decent damage out. And now with 3 of them, if there's a tier 1 army ability of Slaanesh to rampage these guys right now, that's a dead Grail Knight. That's a very dead Grail Knight if it gets rampaged at this moment. Lash of Slaanesh is out to try and offer a little bit of melee attack to the whole army. The Grail Knight is going to get away, no army ability for it. I presume, since really the Slaanesh front line just hit the enemy, they haven't been able to chase anybody off and therefore charge up their passive at all. They've lost their caster. Demonettes are still moving up. Marauders will win the frontline fight, but with Lewin and all these knights running around, healing, cycle charging and stuff, I think it is a little doomed for our friend Slaanesh. One Knight of the Realm is out of position, though. Going to get worked down by Sigvald and the boys. Does not want to be here at all. Probably needs to back off if he has any hope of keeping this random Knights of the Realm alive. It's not as important as the Grail Knight of the Knights of Lionhearted, but still, you don't want to lose it for free. Slaanesh's front line is doing good work onto the Bretonnian front line. They're better, they're stronger. They're right proper gits. There goes the caster officially. Hellstriders doing the T-Rex stand perfectly still so that Lewin doesn't notice you strategy. It works. They stay alive. For now. Knights still cleaning up any Marauders they can find. Chaos Warriors are going to get through the front lines soon. These Men-at-Arms are faltering. What does Lewin do next? Looks like he dives some more Hellstriders. Just wants to get rid of them. 3 Demonettes. How are HPs looking? Just above half. Just around half. And the third one is below half and falling. Getting Demonic Instability crumble soon, especially as Lewin comes in from the rear. There they go. And Sigvald is in. And I thought I saw something cast here. What the hell is this? Guess not. I thought it was a Narcissism maybe onto the Knights of the Realm, but it wasn't anything. I'm just dumb. As is my birthright. Lewin dives in to get a little bit of poke with Sigvald, who does have Sliver Slash active. A little bit more damage, some magic attacks and stuff. But Lewin has Ward Save. He doesn't even rely on physical resistance, he just has Ward Save. Magic doesn't help you too much there. Demonette's gonna crumble, both of them not looking too good. Front line of Slaanesh, as we have said all game, is slowly beating the Bretonnian front line, but it's not going to be enough. Grail Knight probably needs a regrowth soon. Still has 34 out of 48 models, though significant damage to them already. One of the Demonettes is fading away. Sigvald is fighting back well against Lewin. All the Knights continue to cycle charge. Bounce power is very far against Slaanesh at this point, though. The Grail Knights get a nice little rear charge on the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh. Doesn't seem to bother them too much just yet. They'll fight back as best they can. But without Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 army abilities of Slaanesh or anything like that, Slaanesh is having a really hard time just pinning these Knights in place and getting any real work done. In comes another rear charge from the Knights of Lionhearted through the Chaos Warriors. And anyone besides the Grail Knight doesn't have amazing armor piercing, so it's really not a big deal to get these rear charges out, though any rear charge is going to still do damage and lower their leadership and maybe route these Slaaneshis, where you can run them down off the map. Army losses is closing in. Sigvald is stuck fighting Lewin and all the Knights. Sword of Crone lowers his melee defense down to 36, which actually is pretty manageable. And if one more unit breaks, it is going to be army losses. So I'm watching over here. There it breaks, and there's army losses. I'm a genius! As Bretonnia and Thagaraki move forward. For Yashkov, it was a creative build, but unfortunately his Hellstriders and the Seekers got caught out very early. And then from there it was just infantry versus cavalry, and cavalry can usually win that as long as the game is allowed to keep going. The more time they have, the more they can get done. Their mass front line held on for as long as was needed, though really not a lot of them got very much value at all. They held. That's all you needed is the Knights get most of the value. So did Lewin. GG's. Next, we go back down a bit to Lowry, who is also known as Aya versus Dr. Nerd. NC Skaven's greatest, best, yes. But he's playing dwarves. So I don't know who to believe. We are still in the bottom bracket, so this is an elimination game. The winner of this will fight Wesley Bravo. The winner... Wait. No, the winner of this will fight Samaric. The winner of that will fight Wuzzy Bravo. The winner of that will fight Zarkas. And the winner of that will fight Olaf Moose. For Dwarves versus the Warriors of Chaos, we have 2 Marauder Horsemen throwing X on this side, 2 more on the other side. We do have the Sibilant Slaughtercade for a little bit of Chaos Chariot shenanigans. Some Marauders with great weapons for a front line. Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons. The Weird Spawn with their armor sundering and shields. A Hell Cannon. Archaon the Everchosen on foot with Spirit Leech and Searing Doom. And Aecold Hellbrass, also on foot. The other side of the dwarves, we have a flame cannon and then a dwarven box that is quite tightly formed. Bugman's Rangers in here, Longbeards, Ironbreakers, ooh, triple Ironbreaker for a front line. More Longbeards, and then Thoric Double Thane for a bit of Hero Hammer. If the flame cannon and the Bugman's Rangers can be taken out, then this build can get kited around by the Hell Cannon and all of the Skirmish Cav. Rune of Wrath and Ruin comes out. Attempt to dodge from the Marauder Horsemen throwing X's, though it did still nick them on the backside a little bit. Bugman's Rangers are going to face outwards, use their regeneration and their shields to try and save them against these Skirmish Cavalry. The Flame Cannon does get in range to fire at the Marauders, though the Hell Cannon is trading back rather heavily onto this guy. Battle Pilgrim Arwar, good versus demons? Yes. Yes. It would be very good against the demons. Hell Cannon continues to fire in. And it's hitting the Flame Cannon decently, but it's also hitting the Longbeards who are trying to defend the Flame Cannon. The Flame Cannon's already down to 2 out of 4 models total. Bugman's Rangers counter-firing against the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, and they will, I mean, as we've discussed already in this stream, but they will outshoot any Skirmish Cavalry. So says standing archers. Archaon's moving up. Hopefully, for his sake, he can get some Searing Dooms onto some of these clusters like the Longbeards right here. The Hell Cannon continues to lob in. Starting to miss the Flame Cannons. The Flame Cannons have lost some models. It looks like they're starting to miss more and more. And the Bugman's Rangers are proving to be a nuisance for the Skirmish Cavalry. Hell Cannon continues firing. Still has 16 volleys left. And now at this point it actually is just shooting the Longbeards. It's not even dealing with the Flame Cannons anymore. Which it was doing so well. I don't know why it bothered switching away. There's a nice Searing Doom onto the square formation Longbeards. Hits some of them. Does a little bit of damage and then moves on. The Hell Cannon is not helping with the Bugman's Rangers. It's also not finishing off the Flame Cannon. I understand that the Flame Cannon's so injured that maybe these Skirmish Cav just want to finish it off, and I get that. But the Hell Cannon needs to be shooting at the Bugman's Rangers to help these guys out a little bit. And, ooh, this is a big opportunity. The Sibilant Slaughtercade come back here, and yeah, they have attack orders to do just that, so I really like this. I like this quite a lot. Sibilant Slaughtercade, realizing that everybody left, can come through here and disrupt the Bugman's Rangers to give these Marauder Horsemen throwing X's some good time to shoot. Who is this? This is Lowry. Good play, Lowry. Good plays, good plays. Frontline trying to hold against Ironbreakers. It will be a bit tough, as those guys are rather meaty. And the Hell Cannon is still trying to figure out where to get its shots in. But where's the Sibilant Slaughtercade going? No, I was just praising it. It didn't come back here at all. So it's just leaving the Bugman's Rangers to shoot against the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes and the Flame Cannon too. So the Skirmish Cav for the Warriors of Chaos is taking a bunch of unnecessary damage. That's costing them a lot of effectiveness, unfortunately. Hell Cannon is punishing the blobs, and that's going very well. We'll see if Archaon can get more Searing Dooms in here, as Aecold is attempting to fight back against Thoric and Single Thane. The other Thane is somewhere else. Good Searing Doom in there, I at least like that from you, little Archie. Sibilant Slaughtercade trying to charge to these guys, though Chariots in general, but especially Chariots versus Dwarves, don't tend to do a lot of damage outside of like the Kizilite War Sleds. So the Sibilant Slaughtercade are much better in the background, dealing with ranged units and just trying to disrupt them and stop them from shooting, than they are trying to deal damage up here versus these Longbeards. They don't even have armor piercing bonus versus... they just have bonus versus infantry, but they don't have good armor piercing. And they have a low weapon strength, so they're really not going to get too much done up here. I really think they'd be better off against Bugman's Rangers. This Bugman Rangers is just deleting the Skirmish Cav! Oh, it was so close to being so good, but then it turned so bad. Damn it. Oh, whatever. A lot of things are still going well for Chaos, not like it's over. It was just a... It was close to being perfect, and then it turned out to be fine. Flame Cannon loses its last model. It is now gone. Done for. Like the Hell Cannon finishing that off. That's cool. Longbeard's going to get charged with the Sibilant Slaughtercade. Get ready for big damage! Oh, God, it's literally none. Oh, fuck. Who could have predicted this? No nice Searing Doom for Archaon, but he's surrounded by Thoric and Double Thing. He needs to back off. He's fighting a 3v1. He can't win. He needs to get out of here. Overall, things are going well for Chaos. They just need to back Archaon off. They need to shut down these Bugman's Rangers, for the love of God. And the Skirmish Cav, I guess they're doing what they can. At this point, they're too damaged to even contest the Bugman's Rangers, so they just need to stay back and like kite out these Longbeards a little bit, I guess. Marauders need to be rallied on the sides of Chaos, and another Root of Wrath and Ruin hits the Marauder Horseman. But Chaos getting a little sloppy here in the mid and late game, leaving Archaon in this 3v1 fight, not rallying their stuff as quickly as possible, is starting to cost them some balance power lead. Because overall, like, they're taking some good engagements. They're getting some really good damage down on the Dwarves. It's just these little mistakes are costing them quite a lot. Caught up with the cast in my 2 games. How was the tourney? What did you think of my games? Games were fun. Games were good. I don't remember them specifically offhand that I could offer constructive insight, but I probably offered the constructive insight during the game, so I don't need to offer it again. I'm busy talking about other players being cool. The Warriors of Chaos did a really good job breaking the Dwarven box and forcing them forward. Archaon is now just trying to fight Iron Breakers and stay safe in the distance. Sybil and Slaughtercade are pathing through Longbeards, though they are very much stuck on those guys. One of the models gets out and actually hits the Bugmans for a little bit, but they're really not getting a lot of damage out whatsoever. Hellcannon only has 2 shots left, and it looks like it will not get off both those. Maybe one, but not both, as Longbeards run up to disrupt them for a little bit. Searing Doom is out onto Bugman's Rangers, causing a little bit of disruption. The Marauder Horsemen throwing axes do charge some Longbeards over there. Meanwhile, Archaon continues to blitz through the Ironbreakers like nobody's business, and Eocold is suffering versus Thoric Double Thane. Hellcannon 2 shots left, still trying to shoot for now. Another Spirit Leech onto Thoric Ironbrow. Eocold's trying to heal up. There comes the final Hellcannon shot I think we'll be seeing as the Longbeards have closed in on it. The Bugman's Rangers are peeling for the other Bugman's Rangers. And I don't think they can kill this Hero Hammer right here. Hellcannon is still trying to fire. Archaon does throw on an Overcasted Searing Doom, which actually spreads out the damage. I've talked about this a lot, but I hate Overcasted Searing Doom. I think Undercasted is just better. It's more focused, so it hits more of what you want it to do, and it does just about as much damage for less ones of magic, obviously, because it's not Overcast. Sybil and Slaughtercade starting to charge through Bugman's Rangers and distract them a little bit now. Archaon is still killing the Ironbreakers, doing well. And Eocold has held on in this fight for a surprising amount of time. But it looks like it's not really going to matter. Something died in here. Looks like it was the Chaos spawn. It was the weird spawn, in fact. Sybil and Slaughtercade are going to go back and forth till the end of time, but they really won't get that much damage out, even versus the Bugman's Rangers. Ironbreaker stuck fighting Archaon. It looks like he is going all out for one last attempt to save Eocold, maybe kill Thoric, and maybe turn this game around, though it is looking unlikely. Marauders have rallied to fight the Longbeards, who are on top of the Hellcannon. Archaon's in. He has Fight or Die and Slayer of Kings popped. 870 weapon strength. Still very impressive, even though he's not on Dorger. There's another Spirit Leech onto Thoric. Here comes the Lord's Knight. Big damage on him, and Eocold also piles in. Big damage onto Thoric. Can Archaon really do it? As he's trying to kill the Arch Rune Lord of the Dwarven Empire, and he does it! He's dead! Archaon, not on his horse, does not cause terror, though, so the dwarves are not going to terror out away from him, even if the Ironbreakers could. Yeah, they actually can. They're not ITP, strangely enough. Sybil and Slaughtercade come charging in, cause a mass rout. All 3 of the Ironbreakers going to get going. Athane is chasing down Archaon, though he's having a bad time. Eocold is healing up as he walks away, and the Marauders of the Grey Opens fighting back against the Hellcannons, fighting back against the Longbeards, and the Skirmish Cav are in. Can anything be done about the Bugman's Rangers? Can Archaon Spirit Leech the Thanes to death? The Dwarves are down to 2 moderately healthy Thanes and 2 moderately healthy Bugman's Rangers. For Warriors of Chaos, we have an almost dead Archaon, almost dead Marauders, almost dead Chaos Warriors with dual weapons, and Eocold, who is healing up, but his heal cap is in sight and at about half HP. Olaf the Moose answered your question, Airstrikes, but Thanes on foot are only 500 gold. I mean, they're very cheap. And they're strong little bodyguards for Thoric. And then Thoric gives them fresh vigor the entire fight and some buffs and stuff. So, yeah, they're pretty brutal. They're chasing down Archaon right now. He's at 32 speed. They're at 32 speed because he is injured. Big surround as all the Chaos Warriors and Marauders get in there, do some damage. We'll see if Archaon can turn around. I honestly think Archaon is just so damaged that he might have to just throw down a Spirit Leech if he has it, chuck his buffs out, especially Fight or Die, and try and kill the Thanes while he still can. Eocold and Sybil and Slaughtercade are going to fight to the death versus these Bugman's Rangers who are out of ammunition. The other Bugman's Ranger has 3 volleys left, and he's still firing into these Marauders. Fight or Die is popped. but it won't be enough to keep them in the fight for long. Archaon might have to take this fight while he still has any support whatsoever and just hope for the best. But he's not. He is going to try and waddle away to go help with the Bugman's Rangers area. But now he's coming back. Does he have Slayer of Kings up? He does not. And Fight or Die is worn off, and his Chaos Warrior is routed. So he waited too long. Now he's fighting completely alone. All of his support is gone. His buffs are all gone, and that is just a whoopsie that is going to cost Archaon his life. In the background, Bugman's Rangers still getting cleaved by Aecold. They are healing up this whole time, though, and Sybil and Slaughtercade get routed off. Archaon dies. That is a leadership spike the Warriors of Chaos can hardly afford. It's just Aecold here. Aecold continues to grind it out versus this Bugman's Ranger. Shatters off those other Iron Breakers, but the Double Thanes are coming for him. We still have regenerating Bugmans here for support if the Thanes even need it, which they don't, as they're beating up on Aecold. He's giving it back to him, though, actually. But it's not enough. He routes. That was a good game overall. GG's to both players. Archaon 2,200 value, which is really good for being on foot. Aecold 1,400, also quite nice. The Hell Cannon with 3,300. Nice, nice. Sybil and Slaughtercade was used pretty alright. I liked its micro in the movements, like it never stayed anywhere for too long. It had good cycle charging. I didn't love its target selection for most of the game. It had a couple good charges on good units. Like, I'm not going to say it was never in the right place, but I feel like I made that... I feel like I made my opinion clear there, so I'll leave it alone. Thoric Double Thane, a lot of value. Iron Breakers, overall pretty good, I guess. Bugman's Rangers both did fantastically. The Flame Cannon was shut down right away. And then the Longbeards, also struggled quite a bit. Any advice for learning micro better? When I play campaign, I play it so I can't pause. I have it on the legendary stuff. So that's one thing I do. Other than that... Sorry, someone asked me something. Hey, Shade Digital. For learning micro. Did you ever have driver's ed? Did you ever have driver's ed where you were like, okay, sorry. Someone was mentioning something to me. I don't have an next replay just yet, so I'm gonna actually do this real quick. What replay is next? Dr. Nerd versus Samarik. Whenever that's done, they'll send it to me. So we have Dr. Nerd versus Samarik. Whoever wins that's going to fight Wesley Bravo. Whoever wins that's going to fight Zarkas. And whoever wins that's going to fight Olaf Moose. Shade Digital is no company. What up, Brian McDonald? How you doing? Alright. So... We'll do Skaven. Yeah, we'll do some Skaven. I want to answer your micro question. I'm not just playing a quick battle to be an asshole, but I just want to answer your micro question, but I can do it best by just showing you. If you wanted a quick battle, could have just asked you. It's true. Whoa! $50 from Shade Digital. Human Boy greater than cable TV. That is a bold statement, my friend. That is a bold statement. I'll take it. I'll take it even if I don't believe it. Alrighty. Skaven versus Slaanesh. Not a good matchup for the Rats at all, but we're not really here to win. We're here to prove a point. Take the wife out for some good Applebee's? We will. We will. You bet your biscuits we will. Okay. My front line's not really going to hold anyway, but clan rats will do fine. Do I need rat ogres? Is what I say to that. Not really. Slanesh is just going to roll them, but you need a couple for a bit of mass, but I'm not really taking them because I think they'll do well. I'm taking them because I have the money and I might as well. Get another globe. Yeah, that seems fine. What can I upgrade for 30 gold? Whatever, it's fine. Use my build, easy collapse. There is no build. There is no build. It's all a lie. Flamers are good here. The warp fire throwers? No, they're not. They still do shit damage. You're talking about the warp fire throwers. And no, they're still shite. Alright, so when you're working on micro, the whole reason we loaded into this thing, and to get the players a little bit more of a head start on me so we don't have any more awkward waits or anything. When you're making control groups, which I do recommend you use control groups, I usually like to prioritize from left to right the most important stuff. So I always have my Lord in spot 1. If I have a big single entity monster or a hero, it goes in spot 2. If I have mobility, we'll say Centaurs, Minotaurs, Knights, Chaos Knights, Empire Knights, Knights of Bretonnia, anything like that. Usually stuff that can move faster, it goes into spot 3. And then my skirmish elements in this build will go into other spots. You know, spots 4 and 5. And then everything else that's generally just going to be a front line and stick together throughout the rest of the game, I put them into this same single large control group of march forward mindlessly and try not to die. So that's what I tend to do, but here's what I meant about that driver's ed comment. As this game goes on, you're going to have to, like, in driver's ed they teach you this thing, or at least they did in America, or maybe even just in Minnesota where I am, but it's like, you're looking ahead, and then every, like, 30 seconds ago you look in your rear view and you look in your side mirrors, like, you just do it. So it's like driving, mirrors, 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 driving, mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. You kind of need to get into the habit of doing the same thing in Warhammer, where it's going to be like, as we're going along, at the start it's not going to make any sense because obviously nothing I have is routing, but I give all my infantry, you notice how I gave everything in my army in a movement order to go forwards, so we start moving forwards, and then I just start giving attack orders from there. So that's one thing to help you, but I do need to keep looking at the bottom of my screen every so often and just looking to see if there are any units with the ZZZs. And it is better to give your units some orders than to give your units perfect orders. It's better to just get them back into the right situation in general than it is to actually, like, really care about if each single engagement is perfect for them or anything, especially if you're talking about your chaff, right? Okay, this is a bad time to have this many globes and ranged units. I was not expecting fucking Nakari in here, but it'll be okay. I'm gonna throw out the Howling Warp Gale just to give the enemy army less leadership and give me more leadership in melee attack. We are largely mucking up this space. I need to back off with these guys. They've lost one Screecher, whatever the fuck it's called. They lost the Seeker. That's what it is. Okay, we're still fighting back. My Night Runners, they meant to kite Furies or to bother Azazel. Now they're stuck in melee because that's just the role they're going to have to fulfill in this build because there's actually not a whole lot I can do against them. There's not a whole lot of ranged I can really do. But we're going to annoy Nakari. We're going to annoy the shit out of Nakari. We do have some archers coming back here. Now I'm looking at the bottom of my screen. I see this guy's sleepy. Why is he sleepy? He's in melee combat, which apparently makes him sleepy, but it was still good to check in on him and make sure that he wasn't, like, routed or rallied or something. Globes are taking out that Chaos Knight. My Morse Guitar's Hellion is getting bodied by Nakari, but my skirmishers, my 360 skirmishers, are doing amazing. I'm going to throw out another one of these to lower everybody's melee attack, but also try to get Nakari's leadership down to negative enough that he actually just takes himself out. My Grey Seer is trying to help with these Hellstriders a bit because the Grey Seer does provide an AoE leadership debuff for the enemy and an AoE leadership buff for me. Morse Guitar's Hellion did prevail versus Nakari. All of a sudden, the balance of power is more in my favor, but once again, look at the bottom of my screen. I have this Rat Ogre over here. He's sleepy. Where is he? What's he doing? I don't care. Get him back in the fight. What's this guy doing? He's sleepy? I don't care. Get him back into the fight. He can come back to the fight, and while he's coming back to the fight, I notice I tell him to fight some Marauder Hell Scourges. Maybe that isn't the best fight for him. He should go after these Hellstriders instead, but he's still walking back towards me, right? He's getting closer to where he needs to be, even if I didn't give him the perfect order right away. And that's kind of what I mean, is you need to do, every once in a while, like I'm doing now, look at the bottom. Hey, this guy's sleepy. Why is he sleepy? He's out here. Okay, give him orders to get back in here. Is it the perfect orders? No, not really. You should probably be aiming at these Hellstriders because they're going to come for him soon, but he routed anyway, so no one really cares. Like, that's what I mean. You just occasionally, every so often, like right now, look at the bottom. There's no one sleeping, so I don't have to give anybody any desperate orders. I can focus back on my main screen and look at the battle that's actually going on, rather than bothering with the bottom. But every so often, like now, look at the bottom. No one's sleeping. I don't care. Back to this. Make sure everybody's in good engagements that I want, and also good engagements that you care about. Not everything on the battlefield is equally important. There's a lot of stuff that actually just doesn't fucking matter. Like these Skaven slaves getting hit by Chaos Warriors or Son of Hellscourges. That doesn't matter. It's not an important thing that I should spend energy trying to keep online. Slinger's coming back. I tell them to fight the Hellstriders. The Hellstriders the only thing in the position to go get them right now, so if they can save themselves from those Hellstriders, that'll be fine. Morse Guitar's Hellion is in a bad way. He's close to getting out of this situation, but Slaanesh doesn't tear her out, so he's actually just stuck in here. These guys need to also fall back, and I could use some globes. These globes need to be saved. Once again, look at the bottom of my screen, see anybody's sleeping. This guy's sleeping. Where is he? Bring him back. Now, I keep saying, where is he, and I go to him to show you what's going on, but I don't usually do that. Usually, like, this Night Runner, he's sleeping. I'm not going to look at him. I'm just going to give him orders onto something. Get him back into the fight. I don't care where he is. He's a fucking Night Runner that's all out of ammunition. I don't care where he is. This Rat Ogre's gone. Send him back to the middle of the fight. He'll get back on my screen in his own time, and he'll be useful in his own time, but that's... It's not time I have to actually go double-click on every single person who's sleeping and bring him back here. I just know I need to get him back on the screen. And sometimes even just clicking on it and saying get back here will tell you where they are from the little line. Like this guy, where are you? Oh, you're over there? Cool. Maybe fight this Chaos Warrior while I peel away with this thing. Things like that. So you just kind of constantly need to be looking for other shit. As Slaanesh is refusing to give up. Everything I have is routing, and even though they lost Nakari a million years ago, they're still doing pretty darn good over here. Let's try and kill that Hellstrider so we can get rid of some of their mobility and maybe get dudes back into the fight. Because that mobility is proving to be a pain in the dick. Alright, so our Rat Ogres are routing. And Slaanesh is going to win this one because Skaven are a bad faction, but hopefully some of that was helpful to you in some way. So that's what we're here for. But at this point, I don't actually know if I can win. As sad as that is. Alright, if we can get rid of those Hellstriders, we might be able to clutch this out. But Slaanesh has just been able to run down all of our DPS for like this entire game. I'm going to throw out that... just to lower everybody's leadership again. Rat Ogres come back. Oh, those fucking Skaven slaves. Skaven slaves are back again. Are you guys just gonna shatter like you always do? There's the bell. I really need that. Let's give these guys a buff, and also give Slaanesh a debuff. If I can kill off the Chaos Knights, we can maybe do this. My Rat Ogres are having a really tough time getting through these Marauders, just these basic-ass Marauders. Morse Guitar's Hellion's back. That's honestly kind of shocking. But, Morse Guitar's Hellion routed, and all my Rat Ogres are routing yet again. And that is probably GG. Oh, that's probably GG. Okay, you just stand perfectly still and get your vigor back, you piece of garbage. Throwing down this to try and lower Slaanesh's leadership again and maybe get some of them to rout for once in their goddamn life. Rat Ogres are back. Try and chase down these Chaos Warriors of Hellscourges just to give your leadership a little bit of a buff. Now I'm getting rampaged. Fantastic. Alright, charging bonus. Keep me in this game. Pop. I know Morskatar's Chilean. I'm trying to get him back to fresh vigor so that he doesn't rout immediately. Got rid of some Hell Scourges. Not Hell Scourges. We got rid of some Hell Striders. Gracier's gonna try and carry this shit. Morskatars, how we doing? Fresh? Good boy. Alright, you can start coming back. You can walk. Alright, we're gonna try and get a charge onto these devoted marauders with Hell Scourges. Trying to get Morskatars back into the fight here. Give myself Death Frenzy for the increased stats, but also just to lower everybody's leadership and melee attack, as we've discussed. Morskatar shatters, you fucking degenerate! Alright, that's a Chaos Warrior. I got Night Runners back just because of the Unholy Clamor. I'm trying to debuff nuke these Chaos Knights out of existence. Their leadership is so fucking strong. Warp Fire would have killed the Marauders? Yeah, sure. No. Skaven's unfortunately just, like, not a good faction right now versus a lot of factions. And Slaanesh is one of their top 4 worst. And it's just, like, things like this. They took a super expensive Lord, I insta-killed it, and we still just horribly lost. Alright. Rat Ogres have chased off those Marauders. Gracier is rampaging yet again. Though we did maybe rout the Chaos Knights, which is nice. If I ever stop rampaging, that'd be pretty cool. And I could leave this area. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. There we go. I'll go charge that while my Rat Ogres attempt to rejoin the fight. Winds of Magic reserve 9. 5 and 6, so I have 14 total, so I can get 2 more spells off. Okay, that's fine. Charge straight through the Marauders, maybe cause them to rout. I'm trying to be helpful while also buying time for my Rat Ogres to get here. Our last hope is a Bound Scorch, a Rat Ogre rear charge, and then some abilities. I'm taking an awful lot of damage getting chased by these guys. Oh, for God's sake. Rat Ogres, looks like they both rout, which is not good. Alright, here's my buff. Throw down this onto all of them. Leadership for yourself. And we pray. Oh, there's a full health Marauder coming. Okay, yeah, that's GG. Oh, it feels bad. What's Howling Oakgale for versus Slaanesh? Azazel and Furies. Azazel and Furies. So, he didn't have anything for my Gutter Runners to throw at. Unfortunately, didn't have anything for my Night Runners to throw at, and they still got a ton of value off of hitting Nakari. Morskatar's Hellion paid for itself. My Gracier did great. Globes got shut down, but even as they did, that one paid for itself twice over. That one paid for itself, things like that. Rat Ogres did the blocking they needed to. Slingers didn't have anything to throw at and still did fine. And we lost anyway. Even though Nakari got a whopping 1,300 value despite costing 3,000. Because guess why, kids? Skaven are bad. They're so fucking bad right now. It just pisses me off. Like, they have some good matchups they can do okay, but most are just trash for them. Let's see. Skaven versus Beastman. Beastman favored. Skaven versus Bretonnia. Bretonnia favored. Skaven versus Chaos Dwarves. Skaven favored. Skaven versus Demons of Chaos. Demons of Chaos favored or even. Skaven versus Dark Elves. Dark Elves favored or even. Skaven versus Dwarves. Very Skaven favored. I'll give us that. Skaven versus Empire. Empire favored. Don't believe me. I'll play versus you as Empire, and I will destroy you. Skaven versus Grand Cathay. It is even. Skaven versus Greenskins. It is unwinnable by Skaven if the Greenskin players know what they're doing. Skaven versus Hyles, Skaven favored. Skaven versus Khorne, even. Skaven versus Kislev, even, actually, which is one of the few good factions Skaven can beat. Skaven versus Lizardman, very Lizardman favored. Skaven versus Norska, very Norska favored. Skaven versus Nurgle, even. Skaven versus Ogre Kingdom, very Ogre Kingdom favored. Skaven versus Skaven, somehow Skaven favored. Skaven versus Slaanesh, Slaanesh favored. Skaven versus Tomb Kings, even or slightly Skaven favored. Skaven versus Tzeentch, very Skaven favored, actually. Skaven versus Vampire Coast, even, slightly Skaven favored. Vampire Counts, very Vampire Counts favored. Warriors Chaos favored. Warriors Chaos favored. Wood Elves, very Wood Elves favored. It's not a good time to be a Skaven. Why is Cathay even? Skavens are very, very good in the ranged fight, and Cathay is not super good at charging you. They want a box. So it was Skaven favored until Onyx Croman came out, and Onyx Croman made it actually quite difficult for the Skaven to keep their weapons teams online. But that isn't like an end-all be-all. It still means Cathay has the same weaknesses they've had. They rely on their melee stats for their infantry to be tanky, and Skaven just don't participate in the melee fight. They shoot them, or you have Death Runners. So the Skaven have some really good options there versus Cathay. It's even, which versus an S tier faction is quite nice. They just have so many bad matchups, is why I consider them bad. It's not that they don't have any good ones, it's just that they have a lot of bad ones. I've eaten Lutefisk, which is apparently favored in Norway. I have not. It sounds gross. But wait, Cathay gets a flying terror monster this month? That is not nice. Also, just a quick note, on the new player tournaments, we tend to be a little bit more chill with rules, but just FYI for Samarek here, we are limiting to 3 chariots in builds, and you do have 4 war wagons here, and war wagons are a chariot. Just an FYI. Though again, we're more chill on it. New player tournaments, it is just a heads up for you for your future games. All right, for the Empire versus Dwarves, we are back to tournament games. The Empire brought 4 war wagons, 2 Outriders grenade launchers in the flank over there, some spearmen of shields, 2 great swords, silver bullets, Sunmaker, and Balthasar Gelt on the ground with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. For the Dwarves of Dr. Nerd, we have Bugman's Rangers, Miners Blasting Chargers, Longbeards, Dwarf Warriors, Thoric Double Thane, more blasting charges on the front line, and then Bugman's Rangers running up into the fray. War wagons are generally not considered good in this matchup. They don't do a lot of damage as a melee chariot, and they're better at sniping large targets like cavalry or single entities and stuff, and the dwarves really don't have a lot of good targets for them. They're weak to ranged, which the dwarves bring a lot of range. They have a bunch of Bugman's Rangers and stuff, so unfortunately the war wagons are just not ideal for this matchup. The Empire front line crumbles in the face of blasting charges super quickly. We've already lost about 4 spearmen almost, as the Outriders grenade launchers move up on the backfield. And they are going to take out the Bugman's Rangers rather swiftly, so a little bit of tit for tat there. Sunmaker's trying to get its damage out while it still can, and the silver bullets are going to defend it admirably. The war wagon's taking a ton of damage though. It's brutal. They're doing a little bit of disruption. That's kind of nice, but I don't know if it's enough. The dwarves clumping up a little bit. Overcast and Searing Doom from Gelt going to do a little bit extra damage to them while they get shot by the Sunmaker. The dwarves do want to spread out and really harass the multiple ranged aspects of the Empire all at once rather than moving around in a clump. So that's a bit of a whoopsie, as the Empire grenade launchers plus the war wagon disruption are going to deal with some of the Bugman's Rangers. 2 of them in dire straits. Let's go, teams. What up, felon? Does Cathay have the only flying artillery unit? Yes, if you don't count the Burning Chariot of Tzeentch Flamer thing. I don't know if you count that as artillery. Alright, Master Rune of Negation is on to Thoric. The silver bullets are corrupted by Longbeards. Looks like the Sunmaker is out of targets to really shoot at. Our Outrider's grenade launchers are trying to duel back against Bugman's Rangers, but they're taking a lot of damage from all these Bugman's Rangers they're fighting. And the War Wagon Blob is all sitting on top of one Bugman's Ranger and not even routing it yet, as the other Bugman's Ranger has come back from the woods and is now shooting the Outrider's grenade launchers in the back. The Sunmaker is dying, the Silver Bullets are dying, and it is two Great Swords, Gelt, and a single Outrider grenade launchers versus the Dwarven Tides. Do we consider gyro bombers flying artillery? That's true. That's true as well, Zakura. You didn't do some vermin after this? No, I gotta go to bed. I gotta work tomorrow. And my stepdad and mother coming over for Daryl's birthday. So, no, I'll go to bed when the tournament's over. It's 10:30 here, which isn't like super late, but I have to work. I have a birthday lunch to go to, and we're getting Daryl fitted for his suit for our wedding and stuff. So it's just it's a whole thing, Spartan. It's a whole thing. Okay. I don't really have a lot left to say here as army losses is closing in. We'll see how long it takes the War Wagons to start routing, because once they start routing, then the balance power tip into army losses territory. That, or if Gelt gets sniped out or something. But I really do think it's if that War Wagon with all that ammunition that's blinking on its leadership bar, if that routes, it'll probably chain reaction take the Empire with it. Ow! Or that Overcast will do it. As Gelt's going to route, without him, the Empire stands no chance. There they all go. There they all go. Sunmaker got decent value. The War Wagons just did not have anything to do, unfortunately, here. Great Swords did fine. Silver Bullets did okay. Outrider's grenade launchers got some decent value, too. But the Empire State Troops and the War Wagons really let them down. For Dr. Nerd, Hero Hammer didn't have a whole lot to accomplish, but it was there. It was mostly the Bugman's Rangers getting out really good value. Poking down those Outrider's grenade launchers just being annoying. The blasting charges taking out the Empire's front line immediately is also quite brutal. So, yeah, that's GG. Overcast Searing Doom dealt 0 damage. It's true. No one believes me, but it is true. What happened there? Oh my god. Wesley Bravo, if you're out there, you got replays for me? I know Dr. Nerd can't save him because he has G-Force stuff, but... We do have replays to cast. I just need to receive them. All right, he's in chat saying, yeah, 1 second. Great, great. We do have replays. Everybody stay calm, stay calm. What map we playing? If you get to the end of the map, just restart at the top. Just restart at the top. If a Warhammer tournament like wrestling where each competitor comes in their own theme to or whatnot, what would your entrance be like? Mine would be that song. I don't even know who does it, but it's like... Oh, it was Born... It's Born, Born Innocent? It's by the Drill Queens. Born Different? I don't know. Oh, it's Born Depressed. That's it. I was born depressed. up in one big mess and trouble around it. But there's one, the lyrics are what gets me, because it's, what the hell? Wes, I know you sent them in the replays for casting. I'm gonna hope I have these correct. Next time, if you can, DM me, just so I know they're there, because I like getting the Discord ping. Just FYI. But yeah. There's a lyric. The whole joke is that there's a lyric that's like, I'm born perfect. I'm born better. Born different. I'm not like you. That's where that was going. It was a rambling fucking mess, and I'm garbage. But we got there. Zarconia, your second tournament, you made it pretty far. You did make it pretty far. I noticed you're in VOD, aren't you? Well, VOD is a part of the clan war thingy we have coming up. Hope to see you there if there's a spot for you. Bjorn is a solid dude. Okay, what do we have? What's going on here? So for Wesley Bravo, Thagaraki, we have some Chaos Warhounds with Poison, Chaos Knights of Nurgle, 2 of them. We do have a Soul Grinder, Exalted Hero of Nurgle, 2 of those, supported by these Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. And then we have a front line of Chaos Warriors and Marauders of Nurgle. Yeah. Say hi to Bjorn for me. He's a huge fan. Bjorn loves me. We've definitely never fought or anything. Bjorn and I have a sordid history, and it's equal parts both parties' fault. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying not to be such a toxic dickhead all the time. Alright, for the High Obs, we do have a bunch of archers. Lyran Reavers, the Fireborn, more Lyran Reavers, a Mage of Life with Regrowth, Imric, and a bunch of archers. I saw a preemptive regrowth onto the Fireborn before they took any damage. That seems rather bold. That's too aggressive. They're not getting any healing from it right now because all the models they still have alive are already heal capped, so that's unfortunate. Lyran Reaver is getting chased down by Chaos Warhounds with Poison. And Imric has landed in front of the double Exalted Heroes. He's fighting Chaos Warriors of Nurgle too. He does get them to tear out away from the Swordmasters of Hoeth who were tearing through them. Dragonhorn is popped, but he's taking a lot of damage in return. We know Regrowth is on cooldown because that Mage of Life already used on the Fireborn who are still fighting against the Chaos Knights of Nurgle who get their own fleshy abundance for a bit more healing. Archers trying to move up, trying to help Imric out a little bit, but these little teeny tiny guys on horseback are much harder to hit than the big old dragons. They might get obstructed even. Chaos Knights of Nurgle chasing off Lyran Reavers. They do need to loop back and get onto these archers, as these dogs are both pairing up to the Lyran Reavers. I like this a lot. They're going to take out those guys, but once again, the archers do need to end up being the target. But those Lyran Reavers just refuse to rout. They're not going anywhere. There, they finally leave, but now the dogs are too low on leadership to really stop these archers. Chaos Knights have come back and helped them out a bit, but that was a good dog play. And the Lyran Reavers proved to just be the champions we needed the day we needed them. Fireborn and Chaos Knights fighting back and forth. Neither going anywhere because the Chaos Knights lack the stats to get through the Fireborn, and the Fireborn lack the armor piercing to get through the Chaos Knights. Front line is a bit of a wash. Both sides really getting nowhere. But it's the superiority of the Nurgle mobility that is proving to be the winner here. Imric is trying to put this game on his back, as he usually does. But it's a little harder to do. Dogs and the Chaos Sorcerer Lord are once again on the archers, and Imric's going to try and dive the Chaos Sorcerer Lord himself rather than going after the Exalted Heroes. The Exalted Heroes are both busy with the archers. We'll see if he can actually finish the snipe attempt. And the Chaos Sorcerer Lord's leadership dips very far down for him being like literally full HP. Jesus. In the background, Soul Grinder's fighting Swordmasters of a sword. Whoa! Why is a Soul Grinder fighting Swordmasters of Hoeth? He can just walk away. I think, like me, the Nurgle player didn't notice that this is even happening. I don't think he knows that that's going on. Because, like, sure they aren't anti-large, but they're still hyper-elite armor piercing, so they'll get more damage down than you really want to suffer through. Exalted Hero's trying to snipe out the Life Caster, and still the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle is kiting away from Imric as best he can, just trying to stay alive, and now the Exalted Heroes are going to come help him out, poke down Imric a little bit more. And how much damage we saw Imric take earlier, his healing cap's got to be right around the corner. Another Dragonhorn is out. The High Ups still have one archer up. They still have some Fireborn. And one of the Chaos Knights of Nurgle is just about dead. Someone's getting healing here, and who is it? It is the Fireborn. They get another regrowth. A rear charge in from Silurian Reavers might tip the balance against those Chaos Knights and Nurgle. They might finally rout. The Fireborn are now attacked by a Soul Grinder. Imrik continues to pursue this poor little Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. Here comes the Breath Attack. Chaos Warrior is going to get a nice side shot. Really good Breath Attack angle there from Imrik. We talked about it earlier in the stream, but if you want to do damage to multi-entity models like Cavalry or Chaos Warriors, you get as far away as you can and then use the Breath Attack. If you want to hurt a single entity, you get directly over it and fire straight down. That is how you get the most effective stuff. Alright. Soul Grinder still fighting it out here. Imrik is nearby, however. The Exalted Heroes are also closing in. And I wonder, do we have an overcasted Fleshy Abundance? Probably not. That is very expensive. But man, if you had one, this would be a great spot for it. Soul Grinder, both Exalted Heroes, this Chaos Knight, that would be just juicy. Value City. Nurgle is pulling ahead on the balance of power, and I will say it is nice seeing Nurgle win occasionally in competitive. They're not the best faction. High Elves are strong. They're not top tier, but they're good. They're strong, so. It's certainly a tough win for Nurgle. They snipe out the Life Caster. Imrik is still alive and healthy. Fireborn at half HP. We still have some archers. We still have some spearmen holding on, though, so the High Elves are not out of this yet. That Soul Grinder gets demonic instability crumbled. That'll be a lot of the balance of power back into the favor of the High Elves. And the Exalted Heroes, haven't seen them get healing for a little bit. I wonder if there's a tier 2 army ability fecundity for them, or if there's an overcasted Fleshy Abundance for this whole blob of expensive Nurgle units. We'll have to see. Fireborn and Imrik continuing to fight. Imrik just needs to swing at anything. He keeps getting like stun locked and stuff, but he just needs to keep swinging for the fences right now. Does he have Breath Attack still left? He has one. If he can get into the sky and Breath Attack this healthy Chaos Knight, that would be huge for the High Elves in this game. He is going to Terror out away the Exalted Hero yet again. I saw him Terror out him earlier. There he goes. Goodbye. But here's the fecundity we were talking about earlier, giving them vigor and HP back. They're light armor archers. Dogs actually have trouble killing them. True, but I mean, you just want to stop them from shooting, right? That's what your dogs are all about. Not that you did anything wrong. The Illyrian Reavers last a lot longer than I thought they would, so then your dogs just didn't have the HP afterwards to really deal with the archers. Swordmaster's getting shot at by the Soul Grinder as they chase something off into the woods. Imrik, oof. I was going to say shatters just as an adjective, but that is actually a mechanic in this game, so I won't say that. But he destroys the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, who is heal cap, and he just gets constant charges over and over and over again into this poor Nurgle Lord. He's going to kick him off the battlefield. It looks like he's not going to let him come back, which will lower Nurgle's leadership, maybe getting that Soul Grinder closer to routing, but also get rid of any winds of magic they had left to give. Now, unfortunately, it's taking Imrik a lot longer than he would hope. The Soul Grinder's lining up a beautiful shot onto the Fireborn and that last Spearman. That was a nasty shot. Pretty big for them, but Imrik is lining up another Breath Attack. Can he hit these Chaos Knights while they're all clustered up? He does not go for it, and that is going to be a chance he sorely regrets not taking, as his last Breath Attack will never get a better opportunity than that one. Now, he is still going to go snipe out the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. I'm going to fast forward for just a second as both sides are chasing down each other's units. There's really not a ton going on right now, so we'll just get that out. Sorcerer Lord is dead. Nurgle's leadership is falling a little bit. There's a sideways Breath Attack down the Chaos Knights. It's a little bit of poke, and it's good poke, because as soon as Imrik lands, he's probably not going to get back in the sky again for the rest of this game. But, yeah. Imrik now trying to land on these Chaos Knights. Kind of surprised he's not going to go fight the Soul Grinder while he can, but it looks like he's trying to rally with some Spearmen in the woods. Archers get a couple volleys off while they can. Swordmasters go with route, and Imrik's still looking for an angle to really get involved here. Soul Grinder is out of ammunition, and Lord of Dragons is down onto the Soul Grinder. This seems ambitious, because now the Exalted Heroes of Nurgle are back. I would have saved the Lord of Dragons for them. They're scarier melee combatants than that thing was. Imrik is stuck in place, really not getting any good shots off. There we go. Big hit onto the Exalted Hero of Nurgle. Is going to route that guy away, and then a good charge attack through these Chaos Warriors. Maybe going to terror out them too. That Exalted Hero appears to have terror resistance. Now it wears off as he immediately terror outs once I talk about it. Chaos Knights are going to go hit the Spearmen while they're unbraced. That is a good play for them, but it is also exactly what Imrik wants. Like, both sides are doing the correct thing here. Chaos Knights are going to go kill those Spearmen. They're going to do great. But Imrik is finishing off these Chaos Warriors, getting them to rout. He's going to try and demonic instability to crumble the Soul Grinder that is returning to hit him in the rear. Good damage, good damage. He's in a 2v1 fight he does not enjoy. Chaos Knights are back. His support is all gone. And Imrik, a fearsome foe, and not going to be able to solo carry this whole game. So GG there. For Thagaraki, Chaos Knights overall good value. The Exalted Hero is amazing value, just poking down Imrik all game. Soul Grinder also got a lot out of it. And the Nurgle frontline of dogs did fine. For Dr. Nerd, 4,900 value on Imrik, 2,200 on the Dragon Princes. That is classic high elf spread of damage. We'll see if anybody else even did anything impressive. The Swordmasters got a lot of value out. The Archers did okay. So GG. Takes us to our next game. We have Zarkas versus Thagaraki. Ogre Kingdoms versus Lizardmen. The winner of this is currently working with Olaf the Moose to do our finals. All right, Ogre Kingdoms versus the Lizardmen. I understand the Hives don't have much choice when it comes to Lord, but I still like Imrik as a stinky doo-doo man. Yeah, I'm pretty sick of seeing Imrik too. I wish he just like wasn't the only option. That Hives had like other good lords. They have their base mage lord, but I wish like Tyrion's better than he has been, but not great. I wish Teclis didn't suck ass. I wish Eltharion didn't suck. Anyway. Ogre Kingdoms versus Lizardmen. For the Lizardmen, we do have some feral cold ones from Zarkas here. 4 of them, though 2 are currently rampaging into their deaths. We do have a skink frontline, some skink cohorts with javelins. We have some Saurus spears, Temple Guard, the Starshaper Guardians Temple Guard actually, a Salamander hunting pack, and then the Umbral Tide Salamander hunting pack. Rev Crystal, a Life Slan, and then some skinks in the back. For the Ogre Kingdoms, Mournfang Cavalry, 1 Leadbelcher. Yes, 1 Leadbelcher, the Mani Pistol ROR, some Saber-Tusk packs, Iron Guts, Slaughtermaster the Great Maul with Brain Gobbler and Troll Guts, a Giant, and then some Ogre Bowls and some Gnoblars and Gnoblar Trappers. Both sides have a bit of a pick a little bit of everything build. The Lizardmen, a little bit of a whoopsie on the start where they had some of those cold... Oh, those are Cold One Spear Riders. Anyway, they had some of those feral cold ones just kind of YOLO into their death without any of the Lizardmen army being nearby to support at all or being engaged. So that was a bit of a whoopsie. They're going to want that one back, but it's okay. You lost some feral cold ones. Shit happens. Salamander hunting packs trying to get back to safety, trying to turn around and fire. And they're currently clumping up just a little bit here. Looks like they're starting to spread now. Blood Statue of Spite plus a volley from the Salamander should get the Gnoblars to rout and get the Star Chamber Guardians on their way towards the Ogre's backline. The Ogre's front line is taking a lot of damage. Cold One Spear Riders trying to fight it out. They're getting a little bit of damage here and there, but Cold One Spear Riders tend to just be very lackluster for me, unfortunately, and their damage value is also showing that. They tower out away from the Giant. It's a bad time. Gnoblar's almost routing on the front line. Skink Skirmishers poking down Mournfang Cav a little bit. Lizardmen are quite down in the balance of power as the Umbral Tide and other Salamander hunting pack are having troubles getting into range of the Ogre's kiting elements. They're outranged and they are just not fast enough to catch these guys, it looks like. And Earthblood's trying to heal them up. They're just taking so much damage right to the face. God damn. Alarielle isn't good anymore? Not really. With healing being so strong, Alarielle kind of is overdoing it, where it's like, you're not special anymore. Yeah, you heal a bunch, but everybody heals a bunch. So what do you bring to the party besides that? She's like, I don't know, nothing. Okay, cool. Mournfang Cav break away from their fight with the Feral Cold and the Skink Skirmishers and are going to side charge the Umbral Tide. And with that and the other Salamander hunting pack already routing, this is going to be a bit tough. The Lizardmen still have a lot of Saurus to rely on and a lot of Temple Guard. But they can get kited, man. They can get kited by these Leadbelchers and the Powder Guts and Gnoblar Trappers and all this shit. They're not really going to have a good time. A lot of the DPS was in these Salamander hunting packs. We're now leaving. And Salamanders are weird. I want to like them, and some players do. Like, Bjorn's pretty good with Salamander hunting packs. But they're tough. They're tough to really make work. Gnoblar Trappers just firing into Skink Cohorts and into the Temple Guard as best they can. The Troll Guts out to try and heal up the Mournfang Cavalry as they get shot on all sides. The Star Chamber Guardians take big damage from that Leadbelcher kite. And over here, what's going on? What's happening here? We're still on the Rev Crystal fighting against the Slaughtermaster. That's cute. That's fun for everybody involved. Man Your Pistols cheating a little bit and offering support the Slaughtermaster doesn't deserve. Might route those guys off. And the Saurus are still a threat, but they're a slow threat that the Ogre Kingdoms are going to be able to kite out. Meanwhile, a Giant is catching up with the Slann Mage Priest of Life. On the side of the Ogre Kingdoms, we do have some Sabertusk packs getting a little silly in the distance. They don't need to be chasing all that down. They might want army passive and such, sure, but one Feral Goblin is not worth chasing, so they do need to come back here and participate in the rest of the fight. Bounce Power is going heavily against Lizardmen, though, and I do have to agree as the Lead Belchers tear up the Temple Guard. Oof, 1900 value on these guys and climbing. Giant is pursuing the Mage Priest of Life. There's just really not a lot of damage left for Lizardmen. Zarkus had a good run. He had a good run. This build was like, it was interesting and it was cool. I'm not a Salamander believer, so I'm going to talk shit about the Salamanders, but if you like them, you keep at it. I know certain really high-level players can get the Salamanders to do good work. I'm just not one of those players, so I tend to avoid it. It's looking like army losses here, as Lizardmen fall beneath the Ogre Tide. It was a good run for Zarkus. Was a good run. Got to winners bracket semifinals. Was defeated there by Olaf, who went to finals, and then made it to losers bracket semifinals and lost here to Thagaraki. So, getting third in the tournament ain't bad at all. Ain't bad whatsoever. Man Your Pistols, Mournfang Cavalry, and Lead Belchers getting a lot of the value for the Ogre Kingdoms here. Nabla Trappers also did very, very well. On the side of Zarkus, the Saurus wandered around and won whatever fight they got into, but they couldn't really get into as many fights as they wanted, unfortunately for them. Cold and Spear Riders really let you down, unfortunately, though I also hate that unit, so of course I'm going to talk shit about it. That's a GG there. And let's check replays for casting. I don't see a replay for me. Okay. So our finals is Wesley versus Olaf. I have no idea how far they are into that. But they did message me 12 minutes ago saying they were picking. So, final should be done soon. We have one best of one left for the day. One best of one left for the day. Here's the bracket so far, if you care how far anybody got. And how many signups did we end up having? 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? It's 12. And then we had a buy round here for Lowry, and we had a buy round here for Airstrike. So 14. 14 signups, pretty good. Pretty good. Good stuff. Alright. We continue to wait. I'm tempted to refresh the bracket, but if I refresh while you're still there, then you can see if I even get any results. Tonight has sent us a couple replays. I'll check out another one of those while we wait. Lizardmen versus Dark Elves or Greenskins versus Dark Elves? We'll do Lizardmen. We haven't gotten actually a ton of Lizardmen today. Do we any replays to cast Wave Downtime? Yeah, I'm on it. Oh, that is spicy. Hey, it's Zarkus again. Zarkus, you still out there? Did you leave? Did you leave us, Zarkus? He better not have. I'm going to be very mad if he did. I'll be pissed. Tinnitus, Anglesmith versus Zarkus, GOE. This was earlier in the tournament. You think Greenskins versus Dark Elves would be interesting? I'll cast that if I still don't have a replay after this one. So for Tinnitus, we have a Reaper Bolt Thrower. What up, dude? We have a Reaper Bolt Thrower. Cold One Knights. Dreadlord, Sword and Shield, butt naked otherwise. She is on her mount, but she's mounted butt naked. Take that to the bank. That's it. She can bring any of her abilities. We do have a Shadows Caster with Pendulum, Occam's Mindrazor, and the Withering. Dread Spears, Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, Bleak Swords, Dread Spears. We have some Dark Shards, including the Bolt Fiends, some Shades, the Helibroni, the Sister Singing Doom, and of course, the Chill of Sontar. You have to. You have to bring the big scaly boy. I haven't seen him since Warhammer 2. He has the Frostbath, and then his regen. For Zarkus and the Lizardmen, we do have a Skink frontline, including the cohort of Sotek. He has Bjorn's favorite, the double Ancient Salamander Kite. VOD's Bjorn loves this strategy. He's so good at it, too. Bunch of Skink cohorts. We have some Feral Cold Ones in the distance that are going to take a cav fight. They'll probably lose. We do have the Star Chamber Guardians, a Rev Crystal, and a Life Slon with Regrowth and Earthblood. Some Skink Skirmishers, some Feral Cold Ones, and we have Cold One Riders and Horned Ones who look to be lining themselves up for a charge over here to deal with the Dark Elves' heavy cavalry of their own. For now, the hero core of the Dark Elves plus their Cold One Knights are wrecking some Feral Cold Ones. But imagine if Horned Ones feel like joining this fray, that will change very quickly. I lost a thing! Oh shit, I clicked on the wrong thing. Chill of Sontar is helping to tear off some skinks and things like that. The Dark Elf frontline is for now holding, as a lot of the Lizardmen funds are over there in those Horned Ones that are not yet participating in the fight, and I am getting increasingly nervous that they will not be joining this fight, and that'll be bad, so they need to get moving. Star Chamber Guardians getting to fight the Chill of Sontar is a bad time for the Chill of Sontar, though there is a plethora of Dark Elf support nearby to help out. The Helibroni, the Sister Singing Doom going to rampage these guys soon. That's actually a pretty solid situation for the Dark Elves as they even offer a little Dark Shard support. But Zarkas does sprint to Bastiladon through the central lines, and oh, look at that Ancient Salamander damage! It's huge! It's huge! More Dark Shards and Shades trying to ping down the little Bastiladon, but maybe the Salon will give him a little bit of healing here and there. We actually have a regrowth coming in for the cohort of Sotek. That's pretty chad, keeping those little guys alive. Just as the Horned Ones are starting to join the fight, the Cold One Knights come out, and they do have their Murderous Prowess buff, which is a dangerous time to fight them. But I think Zarkas is just hoping they're injured enough and he's healthy enough that he can take the fight and win it anyway. Alright, we have our tournament final in, so after this game I will go ahead and cast that. So we have 2 games back-to-back, then the stream will be done. Thank you for hanging around today. Ancient Salamanders charging through the front line. I don't know if they should be involved in the front line this early, if you want my opinion. They probably can keep shooting. They have a ton of ammo left, and they're doing just fine. The Bastiladon and Rev Crystal went a little bit too far, a little too close to the sun. He is now routing, though several of the Dark Shards are also following them there. Ancient Salamander still firing away at the Shades, and this should be a good volley coming up if he ever decides to spit that little glob of his. Meanwhile, Horned Ones are stuck fighting the Dreadlord, and the Cold One Knights are losing against Cold One Riders. So the Lizardmen are soon to secure the mobility advantage, and they can run down all these Dark Shards and Shades at their leisure. I have been waiting to see this guy shoot for a while, and I think he did while I wasn't looking, but there's a good shot. And he misses. Alright, well, I'm sorry for trying to pay attention. That's my bad. 1H Salamander, the one that dived into the front line, is actually getting routed off. So we still have some Skink support. And we have a Withering on these Horned Ones who are a little AFK. They need to take the fight the Dreadlord, and now they all charge in. So we'll see how that goes for them now. But the Lizardmen, Cav superiority is here. Cold One Riders finally finish off their tamed cousins and take the fight to the Dark Elves. Salamander still charging to the Sister Singing Doom, but his it's applying Rampage to him. He's going to need to get out of here unless the Salon has a, cold-blooded to get him out of that Rampage. He's rampaging now. We'll see what they can do. There is a nice pendulum, though. The Dreadlord is taking about half her HP fighting these Horned Ones. They are going to back off. Salamander needs to be rallied. Can't keep rampaging like this. Chill of Sontar are still very healthy, too. Very, very healthy. Court of Sotek, full HP due to that regrowth they got earlier. Plus, of course, they have their refuse to die if they ever start losing models. Chase down some Dark Shards, get rid of them. The only real DPS left for the Dark Elves is these Shades. Because the Bolt Fiends are back, but I mean, they're so injured and they're not going to live through the Court of Sotek if those guys even turn with them a little bit. What are these? The Cold One Riders that used to be so healthy are now routing off. We do have a Rev Crystal in the distance, has come back. Ancient Salamander has also come back, and he's going to fire at the Bolt Fiends any second now. There goes the shot. There is the shot, and it is good! Crushes those fools. They're going to rout off in any second now. Dark Elves still have some infantry support, still have the Shade, still have the Chill of Sontar. And for now, they still have their Lord and Caster, though the Horned Ones, even in their damaged state, do appear to be beating up these two heroes. Though I feel like they're shy. This is a replay. I swear to God, this is a replay. But whenever I look at them, they back off, and I feel like it's me. I feel like, oh, he's looking at us again. Back off. I don't want to be on camera. I hate being on camera, and they just run away. Like, whenever I look at them, they back off. All right, they're going back in. Do I get to see it this time? They're in here fighting the Dreadlord. They have the Withering on some of their Cold One cousins. Star Chamber Guardian's also getting over here, so this Dreadlord is actually probably going to die. Chill of Sontar doesn't have as high of leadership as you might think off of a full HP ROR monster. Hydras are actually very cowardly. So if the Dreadlord gets sniped out and then at some point it gets surrounded by Lizardmen, it could just rout. Like, that's a real thing. Salamander trying to cut away. It already has positive leadership, so it'll be fine. There's plenty of healing left for the Lizardmen in the late game. If they can get the Life Salon to heal the Bastildon, and then the Bastildon to heal the Salamanders, all of their monsters will be just fine. But that Bastildon really could use a regrowth, just to get it back in this game. Looks like a lot of healing has been spent on the Star Chamber Guardians, and they need even more. But they're now getting a good surround on the Dreadlord. A nice little pendulum here for a bit of poke, but it's not really going to matter. I think the Dreadlord is just dead at this point. She's completely surrounded by elite halberds and those big, scary Velociraptors. Horned Ones charge into Dread Spheres, get a lot of impact damage considering how low on the models and HP they are. Holy cats. That's kind of crazy. Big jump onto the Bleak Swords. Salamander is back. Skink cohorts are around it. Maybe they can all rally to the sides, but the balance power is about dead even. And Horned Ones do manage to destroy that entire Dread Sphere as the Chill of Sontar comes waddling in here, ready to pick a fight. Dreadlord is Deadlord. 200 HP and falling for her. Well, I'm not falling for her, but her HP is falling, is what I meant. We still have both Ancient Salamanders alive. We still have a Rev Crystal, who is now offering some healing to someone somewhere. It's onto these feral Cold Ones. And the Witch Elves, if they even look at him, he's going to rampage into them. Horned Ones still chilling, still 11 models. They've been at 11 models for quite a long time. The Chill of Sontar stands among them, and he is swinging around. The Dreadlord is dead. Say goodbye to the Hellebroni. Say goodbye to the Sisters of Singing Doom as they take a couple of nasty volleys from the Ancient Salamander, and now they route to balance power shifting against the Dark Elves, and I must agree, Horned Ones have lost one model since we started watching them like 2 minutes ago. And the Sorceress of Shadows is also taking big damage. Very, very quickly, we're getting down to just the Chill of Sontar. And the Ancient Salamanders can try their best at shooting him. We do have some Skink cohorts that can do the same, and why? This Bastildon needs to back off. He can take this fight later when he receives some healing, but for now, this is not a good time for him to be here. Because if he takes too much damage, I mean, he's just going to rout again, or maybe even shatter, and then you just lose some healing that you could have had. So I don't love it. I think you could back off. The Ancient Salamander hit does get the Chill of Sontar to rout. That's going to be army losses, though. The Lizardmen prevail. Well done to Zarkus. It was a very close game, though. It was a very close game. On the side of the Dark Elves, the Sister Singing Doom did fantastically. Shades did pretty well. Chill of Sontar didn't get a lot of value, but he was annoying, which counts. The other side for Zarkus. Temple Guard didn't get a lot of value. The Horned Ones got 2,100. The Ancient Salamanders both did pretty darn well. Code of Sotek did well. And most of the other stuff kind of paying for itself, which is just fine. What do you think of the Shadows of Change update blog CA released? The information they gave about Cathay seems pretty cool, though I don't think Cathay needs any buffs. I mean, shit just happens. But yeah, it seems neat. Did they release a new one, or is it just the Cathay stuff? It was very close. Zarkus, you did great, buddy. You did great. This is, in fact, the tournament finals between Wesley Bravo, also known as Dagaraki, and Olaf the Moose, my tournament pick. He did come through the winner's bracket. Our dear Olaf. He has not lost a game so far today, but if he loses this one game, he loses everything. Because that's how the tournament was set up on Total Tavern. And I would manually have declared that he gets a second life, but it is very late at night, and I want to go to bed. So sucks to be Olaf. He's on his own. Just Cathay this week? Yeah. Then the Cathay post was fine. It seemed exciting and cool. I liked that they're going to tell us when the patch is coming ahead of time so I can take some time off of work when the patch is coming out to do streams and videos and shit. So, I don't know. It was a positive post. I liked it. It was cool. The finals, and it isn't Imrik. I was a tournament pick? Yeah. Grace picked the funny cat face guy, and then I picked you. The guy who fought in round 1, that was Grace's pick, and then you were mine. Alright, we have Teclis. I hate him. I hate Teclis. I love ranting about how much I hate Teclis, but I hate Teclis. He sucks. He's very, very expensive. His spell kit is good, but not for the price point he's at. I hate Teclis. He's bad. For the rest of the high elf build, since we started talking about that, we have the Fireborn, Sisters of Avalorn, 2 of them, and then 2 Lothan Seaguard, some Spearmen, Silvern Guard, and Spearmen on the front line. We do have the Fireborn Illyrian Princes. I kind of mentioned them before. On the side of the Ogre Kingdoms, for Wesley, we have Sky Striders, the Crushers RR, a Saber Tusk pack, a single Noblar Scrap Launcher, double Hunter, who can actually, I like this. There was a video someone sent me of these guys, but it was double Foot Hunter shooting at Imrik, and they got a lot of value over the course of the game. We also have an Iron Guts, some Mournfang Cav, some Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist, and then Noblars. The Iron Guts are currently netted and taking a lot of damage. They are getting a Troll Guts to try and heal up, but they are on fire due to the Sisters of Avalorn having fire damage. Ogre Bulls trying to get through the front line and get back onto the Sisters, disrupt them from shooting for a bit, but also just get that nice juicy value out. And the Foot Hunters continue to poke at Teclis, keep them on the back foot, Noblar Scrap Launcher firing in. Let's see what the Sky Striders can do. We know Teclis' net is on cooldown because he used it on the Iron Guts. So the Sky Striders can't get just netted out in the middle of nowhere and killed. If they can sneak through this little gap in the High Elves formation, they could get in there and get some good work. And then the Fireborn would be the only thing that can peel them off. And they want to fight the Fireborn, so they're fine with that. They do, in the end, just take a fight with the Lothern Seaguard. And they get really good damage on the charge. I was worried it wouldn't go through because of the charge defense, but they got good damage, so they're already going to rout those guys off pretty soon, it looks like. But here comes the counter charge. Sky Striders on fire. If they receive healing, it will be nerfed. They're surrounded by Illyrian Reavers, Teclis, and the Fireborn are in here somewhere, but they're still fighting Mournfang Cavalry too, as the Ogres are starting to break through this area, but at what cost? The Sky Striders are getting mulched on damage. Oh my god, they're taking so much damage. Taking so much damage. Sister of Avalorn getting hit with Noblar Trappers. That is a great target for the Noblar Trappers to be hitting, so really, really good stuff there. The Sky Striders are terror-outing now. The Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw is involved in this fight, and he may not want to be. As at full HP, his leadership is dipping already down to 28. The Double Hunters still chucking away at whatever they can. It's hard to tell if they're shooting at Illyrian Reavers or at the Dragon Princes. I don't know what's going on over there. Mournfang Cav stuck fighting Silvern Guard. They do need to back out of that, though they are taking a lot of damage. And I keep saying that, but it keeps being true. Another Troll Guts trying to heal them up. And Teclis is once again on to our friend, the Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. He hasn't burned any regrowths on himself, mostly just relying on the Potion of Croy to stay nice and healthy. Noblar Scrap Launcher still firing into the High Elf formation wherever he can. Hit some Sister of Avalorn, that's going okay. Balance Power is about dead even. I don't think so. I feel like the High Elves are actually in a pretty good spot right now, because these Illyrian Reavers are about to run these Crushers off the battlefield. But I'm trying to think of what I'm missing. Oh, it's Teclis getting fucking bodied. Okay, yeah, that would do it, because he's very expensive. The Hunters push him off with haste, and he is happy to leave here. He gets back into the sky where the Hunters can continue just poking him once more with their little spears. Sisters of Avalorn, both of them are technically back online for now and fighting, as Iron Guts try and stop those guys, but they're just so danger low on HP and models, they rout immediately. Mournfang Cav are back. We can see if they can get activated in here. And Sky Striders continue to get chased off by the Illyrian Reavers. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything done about that just yet. The Hunters getting shot by Sister of Avalorn, and the Fireborn are coming out to say hello as the Noblar Scrap Launcher continues to fire in. The Ogres, the Balance of Power says it's slightly high elf favored, but I don't know what they do at this point to get back in this game. I think that's cap. I think that Balance, they're vibing. Teclis' seal cap isn't even within sight, so even if we have the Hunters, I mean, he can throw a regrowth on himself or just use Potions of Croy. Nice job from these Illyrian Reavers to keep running down Mournfang Cav and the Crushers. Got the Crushers off the map, now getting the Mournfang Cav off the map. Ogres continuing to fall further and further behind the Balance of Power. The Noblar Scrap Launcher still getting a little bit of poke damage here on the Avalorn once in a while, but isn't going to matter. I think the only hope at this point, as my stream blinked for a second, I was worried it shut down. The only hope at this point is Teclis overcommitting and the Ogres getting to snipe him out like once and for all, truly. Even then, though, I think honestly the Fireborn and the Sister of Avalorn can carry this without Teclis. Like, I actually don't think they need him. It'd be nice to have him, but I don't think they need him. The Ogre's front line is gone. It's just a couple Noblars here and there. They won't beat the Spearmen that are left. Noblar Scrap Launcher's running out of ammo. It can't kite this out forever. I think that is GG. Really, really don't see what the Balance of Power thinks is left in this game. Troll Guts healing up the Hunter to support Balance of Power a little bit. Slaughtermaster trying to get away and heal on his own. But we still have Sisters of Avalorn. We still have Lothern Seaguard firing in. And one of the Sisters of Avalorn did end up getting killed off by something. I don't think the Noblar Scrap Launcher Yeah, it's way there. 4 volleys left, and the sisters are in a box formation, which does make them a little easier to hit for that scrap launcher. Let's see the shot. Come on, Scrappy. Oh, they moved just as it fired. But it hits anyway. Good hit. Solid hit. Fireborn are out and about, surrounding the ogres, and they do have bonus versus large plus fire damage, which will reduce the healing any of these guys are potentially going to receive. And their low armor counts means that the Dragonpins is missing any armor piercing, which they just don't have. Won't really matter as much. Spears are closing in, and that is probably GG for the Ogre Kingdom. I'm going to ×2 speed for just a little bit here and see what ends up happening. So Survivor on Bond and Seaguard kiting around as best they can. The Hunters get massacred by the Spears and Teclis. Slaughtermaster's at about half HP and kiting around. Teclis is still getting poked down by the Spears and the Double Hunters every so often. And they have paid for themselves, I think. Yeah, they paid for themselves. In general, I don't take the Sky Strider as much anymore. I don't think a lot of people do. They just tend to get whittled down very quickly considering how expensive they are. So you don't tend to see a lot of the Sky Striders, and I think we kind of saw why here. Overall, it was a very creative Ogre Kingdoms build, and I think he honestly played it pretty darn well. I would say more Olaf played better than Thagaraki played bad in that final game. There are certainly games during this stream where I'd say, oh, this player made this, and this mistake, and it maybe cost them the game. But this one, it was just like, I wouldn't have taken the Sky Striders. I don't love them. Aside from that, the build is fine, but I think Olaf just played really well. And I also think Thagaraki was caught off guard that there wasn't Imrik for his Double Hunters to poke at, and Teclis just isn't as juicy of a target as Imrik is for those guys. Sky Striders, 1,000 value, not a lot. Ornfink have 700 value, not a lot. Hunters both did great. Nabo Scrap Launcher did fantastically well. And then the Ogre Bulls and Iron Guts really struggled. Nabo Trappers did very well, and Basic Nombers did okay. For Olaf, Teclis was a really good support piece, very tanky, had a ton of healing for himself, damage resistance healing for his roster, so he did very, very well. Silver and Guard held down the front line like bosses. Sisters of Avalorn did fantastically. And the Fireborn did great. Lane Reavers did great. It's just really well played. So good final. 2 good players. Do hope to see more of Wesley Bravo / Thagaraki in our tournaments. For Olaf the Moose, you are now promoted. You are now promoted to a Bone Ripper. You can no longer play in new player events, but there are plenty of things that still await you. There's a Vermin League best of 3 bot whenever you want to play it. You can still play on the best of 1 bot with other new players. That's fine. We do have other fun tournaments coming up that you can hopefully get involved in. If you hop into a clan, there are a couple of them lurking around. If you hop into a clan, we have clan wars every so often, things like that. But yeah, just keeping a lookout for community tournaments, and we'll be happy to have you. I do need to try and host more stuff than just 1 new player tournament a week. I'm just so busy with all the big tournaments and events we have going on right now that I've been fucking slammed. But I'll try. Because I know we have a number of Bone Rippers. We have Sipa, Pigman 202, now Olaf. I know Ian Zero's lurking out there still. Lasaurus is around. So we have a bunch of Bone Rippers that are just sitting around twiddling their thumbs like, hey, can you host something that's not just a new player tournament? All right. So, GG's, guys. Well played, Olaf. Congrats on the win. And I am going to go to bed so I can work tomorrow. Goodbye.